Tonight's Adelaide and Melbourne kick off the season. From the football park in Adelaide, welcome to the opening Ansett Australia Cup match of the AFL's centenary year.
Hello everybody and welcome to Football Park in Adelaide for the first of the Ansett Cup matches in this centenary year. Adelaide versus Melbourne. It is a bit like saying hello to an old friend tonight, the beginning of what promises to be the most exciting year in 100 years of football. Well, it's hot in Adelaide today, hence the short sleeves and shirts, and it's going to be hot for the players out there tonight. Currently 32 degrees in Adelaide, overnight low 23. Welcome to Gerard Healy to the Ansett Cup in 1996. Do you think that the heat will be a factor here tonight?
Well, it's going to be difficult for both sides, so I'm not sure it'll have any bearing on the result, but not a great deal of humidity here, which is the great killer for players, so look, I think most players enjoy these conditions. Perhaps the last quarter will be a bit tough.
Well, we've just seen the Adelaide team come onto the ground. Melbourne have been out there for 4 or 5 minutes. Let's look firstly at the Adelaide squad, and they've got some outstanding newcomers, and some of those newcomers have played a lot of league football.
Haven't they? A very impressive lineup. In particular, when you add a boom recruit like Darren Jarman, the side definitely goes up a notch or two. Add Kim Costa and Troy Bond, who's out tonight. We believe he's ill, but there is some suspicion that he has got shin splints. Then the side really does take on a different proportion. They're going to go a long way this year, I think, Adelaide. A couple of young guys coming into their first game, Adam Ugrinic and Kane Johnson. Keep an eye out for them. And what about these recruits? Sean Wren and Scott Hodges. Names we've seen before, but they may have a big impact.
Well, Gary Lyon again leading the Demons. What a wonderful player he is. He's kicked something like 155 goals in the last 2 years. Melbourne have got similar input, haven't they, of 4 or 5 players from other clubs who've played a lot of football and a couple of newcomers.
Yeah, lots of experience there. With Craig Turley, he's played 115 games and has been a superstar at various stages with the West Coast. Alistair Clarkson, he's been just on the periphery of North Melbourne. He's played, this is his 10th senior season. David Grant, of course, who's played 191 games for the Saints and been a state player, terrific player. And Anthony Ingerson, well, let's just hope he can make this a real winner for him at Melbourne. And don't forget a special name, I think, Darren O'Brien. Very peculiar, 26-year-old draftee.
Yes, almost 27 and making his debut. One man not...
Hope for you.
Yes, no, way beyond that. One man not playing tonight, Sean Smith. Remember this one, Gerard? I do. I was lucky enough to be at the Gabba this night. It was one of the great marks of all time.
Well, it was just a classic, wasn't it? And unfortunately, I think he broke a wing a couple of weeks ago, but hopefully we'll see him soaring later in the year.
Well, we're going to talk to him at half-time tonight, Gerard. He's the highest player in the AFL, Sean Smith, our special guest. We'll take a break, be back with the opening bounce right after this.
There is a stretch of water due south of Osaka, central Japan, that is home to an extraordinary breed of pearl divers. Like Michiko Nakamura, who has dived these waters since the age of 6 to 30 feet or more, searching the darkened seabed without aid or oxygen, often for as long as 2 minutes at a time. Without doubt, there are few who can match the unique underwater skills of Michiko Nakamura, Pearl Maiden. But ask her about air travel, and she's out of her depth. She leaves that to Qantas, the airline named best in the world.
Who has a more experienced news team than Seven? Who has a bigger pool of top journalists? Who puts more camera crews on the streets? Who delivers footy better? Who else does weather like Wilsey? Who else brings you an hour of local, interstate, and overseas news and current affairs produced in Adelaide? Nobody knows news and current affairs like Seven. Nobody.
Welcome back, Adelaide versus Melbourne at Football Park on a warm, hot night, 32 degrees, good crowd as you can see. And the umpires tonight, Chris Mitchell wearing number 4. He's joined by Scott McLaren, number 11. And Tim Pfeiffer, you can just see walking past Scott there, number 26. There are our 3 umpires for tonight. Our boundary rider. It's great to see you again, Neil Curley. I was with you last weekend in Adelaide when Adelaide played Footscray. They were impressive.
They certainly were, Bruce, and as you were speaking, I heard you talking about the hot conditions. Well, in the last 10 minutes, the breeze has picked up and it's a lot cooler down here, so it's not going to be so bad for the players after all. I think the big thing to look for tonight, and, you know, we can talk about individuals, I think the main thing is to look about the team style. Melbourne, as we've seen over the last couple of years under Neil Baum, very, very good if their quick reflex movement is on. Very bad when it's not, because they leave a lot of unchecked players in their run forward if there's a quick turnover. Adelaide, I think they've been very impressive over the last couple of weeks with their movement out of defence. They're starting to get that run back again. The players backing and supporting each other, giving the forward handball around about half-back midfield. Support coming through and a long movement to Modra, who looks to be back to his 93 form. So this is going to be a very interesting game. I think it'll be played with a lot of intensity. The players are very keyed up. They both want to win. Both sides want to win badly. So I think we're in for a damn good game of footy.
Good on you, girls. Looking forward to your contribution throughout the night.
And interesting to see, Bruce, different style of shorts being worn by the Demons there. Those are pretty popular up in our northern states, New South Wales and Queensland, where rugby league is the major game, and I suppose that it will also be here in Adelaide very shortly.
Well, maybe not after what happened today in the courts. Who knows? Malcolm Blight, welcome to the telecast. Well, it's great to be back in Adelaide. It is a hot night. The ground looks in tremendous condition. I know you've done a lot of homework on this game. Your feelings?
Yes, Bruce. Well, yeah, it is a great night here. I was just commenting on those jumpers that both the sides are wearing, the Guernseys, the Melbourne Flash Demon and the Crows. They players actually look a little bit different with those sort of Guernseys on.
Different shapes and sizes, and we see that also at the beginning of any year. It's a good crowd. Now, experimental rules continuing tonight, as we saw a few of them through the Lightning Premiership, including the push in the back with the 50 metres, abuse of language. We see the Crows bench, Johnson coming off, you Grinick there, number 22, gee, he's quick. McCartney, a bit of a surprise, I think, and Matthew Connell, who you told me during the week would probably start on the interchange.
Yeah, he's coming back from an injury, and they're just easing him back into the season. The best and fairest winner from last year.
And Melbourne's interchange will be Seacamp, Uze, Clarkson and O'Brien. Fancy O'Brien at 26, almost 27, making his debut. There's Hilton. Now, Wren up forward for the Crows, and Caven.
Brett Chalmers is picking up Gary Lyon in the square at one end. Nigel Smart's just dropped back between fullback and centre half back without a man. And there's a loose man for Melbourne up on their defence also.
So the start of the game, Crows going to the left of screen, Melbourne to the right. Steins won the first tap. Gasper's got Modra, by the way. It's an interesting matchup, and it'll be a ball up in the centre square. Adelaide's got a tremendous record in this competition at Football Park. They're unbeaten. They've won 7 out of 7. They went right through to the semi-final stage playing at this ground last year. And since they've come into the competition, they've got a very impressive record, making the final in the last couple of years, being a semi-finalist on a couple of occasions. Free kick going to Glenn Lovett. What a fine player he is for Melbourne. Now Lyon in the goal square. Smart and Chalmers both back there on him. Smart, you can see, tagging up on him with Chalmers.
It's going to be difficult to break free because Smart is all alone. Dean Irving is just dropping back.
Goes short, and he's nearly found his man in Neats round the corner. And he's missed the lot. It's out of bounds on the fall.
It was great set-up work then. They waited and waited and waited in typical Neil Baum style and just waited for that opening to come. Now Chalmers from the deep in the defence. Kicks long. Oh, it's gone a long way. It's gone 65 metres. Big pack of players. Ball falls to ground. Rashudo in underneath and is paid a high tackle and will take this free kick half-back flank. Crows will now move into attack for the first time. Cross the centre line. Big jump. Wren can't grab hold of it. Now he can. Great recovery from the big fella. Tregenza runs on top of it. Wren back for a second effort. That's exceptional and earns a free kick. So Big Sean Wren playing up forward, as Gerard's mentioned. Key play on the Crow side. Modra goes for the lead. It's a great kick. It's a beautiful kick. Oh, Modra went early, and just chipped the pass. And Gerard, that chip pass, I reckon, if you've got a bit of space, that's the one, isn't it?
Absolutely, but I think what really made this a good mark was that there was a bit of traffic. He had to come around. Perhaps Glenn Lovett could have thrown a hand up, but Mod Rothwell, great start.
Oh, he has to kick from 50, so he goes long, goes wide, and a pack of players takes the ball over, and he really did motor with his pace then as he kicked that, and he's just pushed it to the right.
Well, I guess you can miss with any style, but I think you've been a great professor of that running in.
And it goes over the back. Oh, falls to Costa, grabbed high but called play on. Brilliantly done by Hodges. What a great smother from Irving, and it falls to Peter Caven, and Peter Caven gets the scoring underway.
Well, what an outstanding start for Peter Caven to come to a new club. It's his third go, so he wouldn't have to be Einstein to realise that this is his last chance. And he needs to get a couple of good performances on the board. He's known as a full-back, and really this is a surprise move, Malcolm, which has paid off very early in the piece.
Yeah, great start, isn't it? Gets to get whatever breeze there is too. It's going the other way.
Caven with the opening goal for the Crows. Free kick in the centre square. And Steins gets it. What a warhorse he is. Big Jimmy. Won the best and fairest for the second time at the club last year. Goes to half forward. Good effort by Edwards. Hilton with a chance. On the left, high ball. Line with the two opponents again in the front spot. Chalmers at the back. Robin, who's been impressive. He was very good last week. Ducked his head. Handball out was okay.
Oh, good tackle.
Good tackle too by Neeks. The handball came from Turley. Play on advantage given. And tucked away in the pocket, Hopgood. From about 30 metres, drifting down. She had to have two looks when I saw Turley there a moment ago. There's been a lot of changes, hasn't there, at the end of 95 through to 96. Now Hopgood, not noted as a goal kicker. He's got it, straightens it up for a goal.
Monday, it's Seven's Mega Series hit Jag. Over 2 million viewers through to a potent mix of mystery,
We have an investigation to run.
barnstorming adventure,
Sorry, I'm a little rusty.
You're not rusty, Lieutenant. You're corroded.
and 2 of TV's hottest new stars.
I'm Lieutenant Rand, attractive.
This week, Meg and Han are in the line of fire, fighting to save a dead hero's reputation.
You don't quit, do you, Lieutenant?
All new Jag, 7:30 Monday on 7.
So a goal apiece. Pittman and Steins at it again. Third time. Big jump, early jump. Oh, it falls to Lovett. That's clever stuff. Puts it out in the path of Phoebe. Turley overruns it and then goes to ground. Hart paddles it forward. Players running onto the ball, forcing out the wing. Cowell also forces it out wide. And Gerard, seeing this is the second time it's gone out, in great defensive play then, I really doubt whether that rule will ever come in our game. I wouldn't like to see it.
No, I don't think there'll be too many so-called critics of the game suggesting that one, Malcolm, after we saw it in the Lightning Premiership.
I think it was a great idea, but I just think that was terrific. And the whole crowd got behind that push, didn't they? I mean, everyone could see what was going on. Hart with the kick forward. Oh, taken beautifully down low. David Grant, I would have paid it.
But, well, I thought, but interesting to see the ruckman. They both seemed a little bit tentative there when they went for that tap out, not locking arms.
David Grant goes across to Hopgood. Now, this is where they kick to the wide leading player. Saw them at training do this. They don't bring it back down the corridor from there. And all players know what happens. Phoebe runs up to help. Handball goes back to the middle to Primke. In 2 minds. Now chips it. Is it what 2 minds? First thought she's the best. Picked up by Trekenza. Ball bounces over both players' head. And a bit of a shove into Caven's back. And he'll take the free kick right on centre wing here at this warm night at Football Park. So Caven just settles things down for a moment. The opening goal for the Crows. He's a left footer. He also goes wide. Irving dropping back on it. Can't get hold of it. Oh, balls to Jarman. Darren Jarman, well chipped. Put it down for 1 goal, D. Jarman. Gerald, I know I talk about luck of good players, and I'm a great believer they see it quicker, but really good players, don't they?
I think you could suggest that Darren Jarman is quite instinctive in the way he plays, and that was just a classic example. And I think this is where he's going to be the most benefit for the Crows, inside the 50, around the goals. He's getting on in years. He's still a brilliant midfielder, of course, but I would think his goal-kicking capacity will take the Crows to another level.
Crows by 6 points early days. Caven and Jarman, two of their recruits with goals. And Hopgood for the Demons. Costa comes out of the centre. Irving gets a free kick against Wren. So Dean Irving has just struggled to make it at Melbourne.
Just wonder when Nigel Smart may just come down the ground and make himself another ruck rover.
Poor kick, Costa got it. Across to Liptak at 50, chips away, not a bad kick to the front of the square, bouncing ball, it'll be closer to behind. Point to Liptak.
Melbourne have taken the gamble by having Dean Irving drop back, effectively taking him out of the game unless the ball just lobs there. Nigel Smart, with so much ability, can just run everywhere. In fact, it looks like he's gone to centre half back, which has allowed Rotherham to run free.
Oh, Gasper with a nice kick finds Sampson. The youngster Clay Sampson, in his second year now. Oh, pushed out Steins, did it pretty well in there, and then just belts it forward. Turley, no, cut off beautifully by Rashudo. Chain pass of handball, ends up with Bickley with space, kicks long, oh, fantastic kick to Mudra. Oh, wonderfully worked through the centre of the ground with a chain of handballs.
There's a certain feel about this Crows side, I think, coming into this season. They have obviously recruited well. When you got a guy like Tony Modra, who we know can kick over the ton, looking probably the best he has.
And it just goes, no, 16, first goal for the year for Tony Modra.
Introducing the mighty Mitsubishi Techno Trucks. Canter, the big truck that's made small. FK, the tough truck that's now tougher. And FM, the biggest and strongest of them all. With more power than before and as accessible as ever, they command respect.
3-1 to a goal. Modra with his opening goal for the season in the Ansett Cup. He's played so brilliantly in this competition in the past. Good tackle by Darren Jarman on Obbs. Another fair tackle there by Costa, that time on Primke. Costa in underneath it. Obbs tried a little toe poke, didn't work, and it'll be a ball up. Modra resurrected himself, didn't he, at the end of the year? Kicked 17 goals in the last 3 games of 95. Only managed 42 for the season, but got 4, 6 and 7 right at the end, and just given himself a lift coming into this year. (3-1) Adelaide. Melbourne a goal. First of, we see the Melbourne interchange bench stretching and getting ready. First of a busy weekend of Ansett Cup matches right around the country. Off the ground by Pittman. Modra leading. Gasper. Irving getting back. Hip and shoulder was very good by Hodges. Hopgood, tackle on him was a beauty. Cowell had to get rid of it. Free kick though against the tackle and going to Hopgood in the back pocket. Looked reasonable by Liptak. Goes short to Gasper. Damien Gasper. Out wide, not a good kick. They've given it up a couple of times, Melbourne. Irving and Gasper both giving it away. Tregenza, little one to Wren. Can go on now if he wants to. He's got a couple of Crows in the pocket. Waits for Modra. Waits again. Goes out in the Hodges direction. Gives him a chance. Hodges goes to the ground. No free kick. Irving centres it. That's better. Hopgood sits and waits at centre half back. He's the Melbourne goal scorer. Now trying to set something up.
And generally speaking, we'll always go wide from this situation. They do it again to Phoebe. So Matthew Phoebe, the left footer, goes back into Hopgood. Now they can set something up in the Neats direction. Smart has to sit on him from behind. Forces him under the ball. Prosciutto, help from Hart. Work it out well in close quarters. Standing kick doesn't really go where he wanted to, but Costa, who seems to be everywhere, picking up those loose kicks. Chips, direction of Pittman. He's going to have to hurry. Hilton's with him. Puts pressure on him. Does well, the big fella. Great second attempt there from Hilton to put pressure on again, and the ball ends up out of bounds. So pretty tight play all the way along as Costa and Hilton decide on that piece of turf is mine. Quick boundary throw-in. Bit of leaning. If that's not a free kick under the new rules, I'll go he. Quick kick forward. Has to sit and wait underneath at his Obbs and takes a comfortable chest mark. So Andrew Obbs now switches play. Now it'll be the wide kick to Sampson. Anderson on his hammer. Keep your feet, and does. Now bounces away. Kicks out wide to the leading line. The ball sits. Falls for him. Chalmers at him. And the crowd love that because he's pushed it over the line.
Chalmers, who had 7 kicked on him by Jakovic last week, appeared to play pretty well, got a lot of the football, but Alan Jakovic managed 7 goals out of 13 for Footscray in that practice match. Steins gets it down. Underneath it was Chalmers again, and it's about 30 metres from Melbourne's goal. Jeff Farmer, what a promising young player he is. Hot night in Adelaide. 32 degrees at the start of the match. Neil Curley suggesting that the temperature dropped a bit beforehand. Steins giving away a free kick, unhappy there. Pittman with it. Crows playing both Pittman and Wren. Wren up forward. Costa quickly providing the shepherd as he does so often. Mark taken by Irving at centre wing.
Yes, Irving's just floating into the ruck, and Jim Steins just moving out to a half-forward flank once play settled down.
Good long kick, gets it deep inside 50. Line out of position, made a reasonable spoil. Phoebe over the top of Crows player in Rodman. Liptak had to give it up in a hurry. Bickley went to ground. Lyon trying to get through. Little one to Farmer. High tackle, free kick. Throws it out wide. Gets to Phoebe. Hip and shoulder. Very good by Jarman. Punched on by Rashudo. Hart's quick kick. Crows fans like that. Punch away was good by the Demons. Away they go. This is Tregenza at his best. Can go all the way. 3 bounces. Can straighten the body up. Go for goal. Puts it badly. And is that a mark in the pocket to Wren? It is. Wren in the forward pocket. Calls the play on. Round the body. Kick across the face. There is Pesh and also Cow. And out of play.
Well, it's always a toss-up to know whether to keep bouncing the ball and go for goal yourself, or whether you should deliver it on the chest of the nominated full forward. I tend to think that after running 100 metres, you don't kick the ball as well, and the full forward, that's his job.
Yes, I tend to agree sometimes, and has been known to do that, Driggins, hasn't he? Anderson with a quick hand, but they work it away through Sampson. He kicks it out wide. On the wing, players come to meet it. 4 of them. Great contest there. Both players lead their feet. 4 of them all on the ground now. And the umpire will play holding the ball because you must make a genuine attempt to get rid of it. And he stopped doing that, did Ben Hart. So Phoebe, it's out wide, pushing and shoving. Rodman tidies up, then sells the dummy, has the backup from Hart. Hart has a player running in Chalmers. Sensational handball, absolutely spot on. Then kicks it 60 metres to Wren. Oh, free kick, surely.
Well, the ball's coming down pretty solidly and fairly quickly into the Crow forward line, but I'm just a little surprised that they haven't got Marcus Seekamp there, who did play well for them last year. Let's just have a look at this free kick. It was almost a mark, but it was Gasper just coming through and really poleaxing Sean Wren there.
Yes, they really did hit head. It's hard there, Jerry.
In fact, I think he might have even been half-tripped on the way through and just lost a little balance, but the Demons have lost, of course, Sean White, the guy that's been stalwart for them in defence for a number of years. And now without Seekamp, they're really just lacking a little bit of experience down there.
Sean Wren from 30 metres out kicks, and kicks truly. The Crows 4.
At Bank SA, we know it's the small things that are important. So we've introduced an incredibly tiny home loan rate. It's just another small way we work for you.
Yellow Pages, proud Olympic team sponsors.
Exciting football here. Crows away to a fly, 4-1 to a goal. Chalmers' long kick setting up Wren. Off the ground, Darren Jarman. It's going to be exciting to see the 2 Jarmans in the one team together. David Grant, Matthew Rodman. Bickley gets it from Anderson. Gets it well inside 50. Oh, Cow went early. It'll be a free kick to Wren.
He's going to get a lot of these free kicks because his height is just so imposing that players sometimes panic. They know that they're outclassed. Well, have a look at that jump. It was just... well, if he had grabbed it, it would have been exciting. He's obviously been having kicked the kick with Sean Smith.
I think he's in trouble too, unfortunately.
He did come from a long way down. Long way up, I should say.
Glenn Lovett going to the interchange. Coming onto the ground is Adam Uze, and Sampson's come off, Clay Sampson. And O'Brien on as well for the first time, number 38. Now let's have another look at this. Cow going very early. He's up forever, wasn't he? And Irving
caused him all the problems then, didn't he?
Running into him.
Actually, I was just thinking that piece of play before, Jared, ended up with Sean Wren and eventually got a free kick and a goal. See, this is not good, is it, the stretcher? And now he won't be able to come back on now for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's the new rule in this year, and we hope he's okay. That breakaway with Wren there, one-on-one, he's going to beat most players, isn't he?
Well, with his mobility and also his skill, he is going to be an outstanding player in that position. A little bit different to the classical centre-half forwards, obviously, but how many centre-half backs are going to handle his reach?
Exactly. And his recovery for a big fella is excellent, isn't it?
Marcus Seacamp getting ready. Do you think, would Wren have played there had Jonathan Ross not injured himself during the week? What was the feeling in the Adelaide camp, that Ross would be at centre-half forward or Wren?
I thought that there's no standout centre-half forward in the Crow side, in my opinion. So I would have thought that Wren, who can play there and play, he's a very smart player, him and Pittman in and out of that position, just for change the game occasionally, I thought would have been excellent.
Yeah, let's hope young Darren Cow's all right. He's come from a long way down, a long way up to come down, as you've seen a couple of times. Seacamp, who I think dazzled all of us during the Lightning Premiership with his sprinting prowess. He blew away the fast men of the game.
I think Libber was also a great surprise. He made 100 metres, certainly did a great effort.
But young Darren Cowell, 23-year-old.
Having the Melbourne medical staff has had some work early in the season. Andrew Daff there, the club doctor, just making sure that his neck doesn't move for obvious reasons.
So Melbourne swinging some changes here. This one forced. Let's have one more look at Darren Cowell on the way up, and you'll just see that Dean Irving coming to spoil connects Darren with his elbow in that region, and
it's almost like ribs or something, didn't it? He seemed to buckle his other arm underneath him when he... Yeah.
Well, we've got Neil Curley down there, and Curls will keep a watch on what's happening.
But I think importantly for Melbourne, they really do have to settle now. This side can slip away from you when they're playing a football park. The Crows do have a habit of getting a run on. We haven't seen it as much, obviously, in the last year or so, but it's so electrifying, this crowd, that if they sniff a run on, they really will milk it.
And one of the young Cow comes off, and Seacamp to come on. And one of the Crows' problems, only Fitzroy kicked less goals than Adelaide last year. They didn't kick big scores. Yet their trademark early on, wasn't it? Those big 20, 25 goal scores when they got going. It didn't happen last year at all. Here's Wren. In fact, against Melbourne, they had a big match late in the year where they kicked 11 in one quarter. It was one of the few times. Wren for his second shot. He's given it a hook and just misses. 4-2 Adelaide. Wren with a goal and a point. Melbourne with a single goal from Hopgood. So the goal scorers Jarman, Modra, Caven and Wren. Gasper, who himself was hurt when running into Wren a moment ago, to kick it in. Just looking to set up, then goes long, gets good distance. Wren underneath it. Irving, Caven's punch was effective. Jarman made a rare error for him. Quick kick away by Stephen Phoebe to centre wing. Steins after it. With him Rodman on the left foot. Steins out wide. Neat and smart. Gee, that's a good duel, isn't it, for their athleticism and skills. Farmer, good tackle by Smart. Edwards runs into the boundary line, keeps it in. Good kick. Back to left tack. Back to Pesh on the run. Pesh inside 50 now. Wren in the front spot. Good job by Primke. Nicely taken by Hopgood. Hopgood away to centre half forward. Front spot there with Rasciuto. And he's going to take the mark. I love seeing him at half back. That's where he played his best football when he started.
He did indeed. Kicks in the Pittman direction. Oh, fantastic mark. That is a terrific grab going the wrong way. Now the dual forward line kick doesn't go where he wanted it. Modra somehow or other controls it, kicks it back into the centre to keep the Crows alive. The Melbourne defenders run at him. Seacamp just on the ground gets his first kick and gives it up very quickly to Rashudo. Rashudo goes back to the middle. Oh, that is brilliant.
That's the difference at the moment. Hopgood and Seacamp giving the ball away. The Crows pinpoint passes.
Oh, fantastic chase from Ingerson on his former teammate in Hodges. And the ball ends up with Phoebe.
Liptak in trouble. Looks like he's done a shoulder and coming off the ground for the Crows.
And here he sets up David Grant. So Grant just short of wing. Now kicking in the Steins-Neeks direction. So there's plenty of height there. A real lot of height. Great fist from behind from Smart. Running hard at it is Connell on the ground. Pesh keeps it in. Works in space. Then gives it off to Rashudo, who unloads a wobbly torp. Big flyers from Jarman. Falls over the back using some real body weight in there to Obbs. Phoebe under pressure. Hopgood gives it up very quickly. Then back to Hopgood. He's under pressure. So they really are struggling across his half-back line, and the ball ends up out of bounds, virtually centre wing. So down to Neil Curley. How's young Cal, Neil?
Yeah, not too good. It's a head injury. I couldn't get a lot of information. It looks like a severe concussion, straight down the rooms, and well, we'll wait and see if he comes back.
What about Liptak, Neil? Matthew Liptak?
Yeah, injured his shoulder. I think he strained some shoulder ligaments, and he would know because he's a doctor.
Thanks, King. Neil Curley on the boundary line. There's Liptak. So the Demons, a goal. Adelaide 4-2 in the first of the Ansett Cup matches. What a great season we've got to look forward to. Tregenza squeezes one to centre wing. Costa onto it. She kept his feet very well. Trying to break through Irving. Little give okay to Seacamp. He was caught. Gone, holding the footy.
Well, the body work and the tackling of the Crows has been a feature tonight. Still a couple of times I think players are going for the knockout bump rather than going for the tackle. However, they have unsettled Melbourne.
Gee, Ben Hart found a man in Connell. The best of Ferris last year. He's at 50 metres. Hodges in the goal square. Moderate just out of it. So take a good kick from here. What an excellent opening season he had coming from West Coast. He's given it a ride. It's close. It's right there. He's kicked it.
Acting's a wonderful world of playing pretend. But you can never pretend about your family's health. Mr. Howard says he'll keep Medicare as it is, but I think he's pretending. He really wants you to take out expensive private health insurance. As a carrot, he's offering a $450 family rebate. But if you read the fine print, families have to pay out around $2,000 before they get the rebate. Mr. Howard, it just doesn't add up. Authorised by Jackie Weaver for the ALP Canberra.
Yes, 5-2 to a goal. It's just getting a little bit out of hand here for Melbourne. They are going against the breeze, the Crows, too, as they force it forward. They've been pretty good at this. Irving just has trouble on the ground. Jarman with that little toe poke, as he quite often does. They raffle it at the back, ends up with Seacamp. Here's his play again out wide. They really don't attack the goals, do they, from the front, from at the back end. Smart, clever, quick kick, knew he had to do it. He was under pressure. Ends up with Phoebe. Chip short. And just came out of the reach there of Hilton. And Smart takes it over the line.
Malcolm, you've got to kick goals to win them, but perhaps would it be a time in your mind to bring the skipper, Gary Lyon, into the play?
Yeah, it's interesting. He really hasn't been anywhere near it, has he? The ball just hasn't got there. Ends up with Turley. You've certainly got him close to the play anyhow. Chalmers attacks it very well indeed. And Smart does the defensive thing and pushes it over. So we're down under 3 minutes 47 seconds to go. And Melbourne, I think, really need a score here. So boundary throwing. Wren now on the ball with Steins. That's fair enough ruck work to Turley. Turley chips it in the line direction. And the skipper has done just that and marked it.
Well, I think that was a gamble that Neil Barr was obviously taking. He was hoping that Gary Lyon would be able to get into the play because he is their premier goal kicker. Well, you can judge for yourself whether that should have been paid. Perhaps Roger Harper would have taken it.
Yeah, I thought it came off his own body after the first touch, so that's a mark. But a great kick from Turley, and that would have been one of the reasons why Barmy got him, I would have thought. He can finish it. So Gary Lyon Kick's usually a pretty good kick. Makes no mistake. It's the Demons' second goal. So they trail now 2 goals, 12 points. They're 20 points behind Adelaide, 5-2.
And that would have given Craig Turley, I'm sure, a lot of confidence to get into the play.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was a mark.
Oh.
Third umpire certainly said it was. Well, the fourth one in our case.
Gee, a handy one, isn't it, for Melbourne at this stage? Just keeps them in at 2 goals to 5-2. Had some great battles, Melbourne and Adelaide. 4 of their 8 clashes have been under 10 points in the normal home and away season. Obbs gets it well inside 50. Over the top of the line. Farmer should finish with a goal. He's got it. 2 goals in a half a minute. Important for Melbourne late in the quarter. 5-2 to 3 goals.
And amazing how quickly the game can change. Just 2 bursts out of the centre. And have a look at the electrifying pace on Jeff Farmer. He really is going to be an exciting player for Melbourne. And I think this could be a huge year for him.
Yeah, interesting, that tap from Wren then went a long way forward towards the Crows, and Melbourne are really setting themselves up almost as Stynes is going to get beat on this. They really dropped back, although it was an awkward bounce then in the centre. Working hard, all players. Falls to Uze, swings it round, and sitting underneath it's Rashudo, plays on. Tyson Edwards is caught. Tregendra unloads quickly and kicks up the chimney. In the Chalmers, was that Pittman? Gone on to centre half forward. This is O'Brien. This is the young 26-year-old draftee. Out they go wide. Onto Phoebe. Phoebe now comes back down to the middle of the ground. Great contest from Chalmers there. Falls to Pesh. Runs away from Neitz and kicks back to the centre of the ground. Just over Wren's head. Oh, Costa breaks through. Tries to chip it in the Pittman direction. Doesn't find him. Primke works hard and pushes the ball out of bounds.
Yeah, Melbourne really lacking a crummer at the present time. Gary Lyon just saw bringing that ball to ground, but no one at his feet. And there's plenty of goals to be got when you hang around the full forward.
Yeah, just watching this ruck work there. That's a pretty honest jump, isn't it? Both hands off each other. Hopgood under pressure. Gives it away somehow. Hobbs keeps his head over the ball. Taps it to Uza under pressure. Costa's been terrific. That's a high tackle. Yes, unfortunately for Matthew Phoebe, accidents do count. So Costa from 65 out. The second one, and there it is there. Kicks, chips it really. Over the back. Connell falls onto it, runs onto it. Can't get a hold of it. Hopgood under enormous pressure. Seacamp gets through the traffic and gives it off to O'Brien. And the left footer from West Perth goes out wide. And Matthew Phoebe tries to keep it in, does to Uze. Back onto his left foot and kicks the ball up high.
Centre wing, Wren, Neitz at the back. Hilton to try and break a tackle, he does. Round the body now, straightens it up, out wide, looking for line at about 50. Normally very clever in a situation like this. Hooks it back over his head in the direction of Turley. Got a push, he'll get a free kick. Bickley unhappy, but umpire right on the spot there. Turley from about 50 as we see the replay here. Just Bickley just taking the eyes off it at the last minute. So Turley just inside 50. Not a bad kick, it's a good kick. It's right there. Stynes and Robran through from behind. So Melbourne enjoying a good run towards the end of this opening term. They're up to 3-1. Turley getting touches. And 5-2 the Crows. Chalmers, who can really bang a ball in. Long kick. Robran goes back towards the centre. Wren's there. He's got a couple of twin targets. He's going to go in the Wren direction. Look at that. That's a long bomb. It's about 65 metres plus the 10. And Wren's got hold of it. Shoots a great target. Jarman runs off him. Chips to Robran, who kept going. Robran can go inside. He does it well. Rashudo can go long now. Goes in the way of Modra. Gets over the head. Gasper there. Goes to ground. Hopgood. Modra's quick in this situation. Hopgood did pretty well. Forces it to the boundary line. Melbourne could ill afford a late goal against them after they've clawed their way back into the game in the last 6 minutes of the first quarter. So the Crows with the last chance to score. Pittman, Irving, O'Brien. Third kick coming up. Goes a bounce. He's a neat kick. We've seen that already. Goes to half-back. Stynes the target. Jim had a couple of goes. Wren handball over the top to Robran. Robran's left-hand handball to Jarman. Jarman chips away. Won't be a mark. Siren sounds. Connell goes for it, but it won't be a score. And the Crows 5-2 to 3-1. So Jarman, Modra, Connell, Caven and Wren the goal scorers. Lyon, Hopgood and Farmer the goal scorers for Melbourne.
Well, it's going to be a very interesting second quarter, I would think, because the Crows have come out on a real fly here, and that's the hardest time to counter-attack. And Melbourne have done pretty well to score the last 2 goals in that quarter. So you would expect that perhaps they could take that form into the second quarter and it won't be a one-way show. But having said that, they were very impressive, the Crows, and they are going to be a very, very difficult side to beat here in Adelaide.
So the scores at quarter time is Gary Lyon having a chat to his players, revving them up. Both sides probably without a similar player to Liptak for Adelaide and Cowell for Melbourne. It's 5-2 to 3-1.
Aussie rules, I thank you for the best years of our lives. All those hazy, crazy young days, all those fun days in our lives.
Sip and save? You betcha can. Every day. Just get a load of these Sip and Savin' specials. Macallan Scotch, a wee $18.99. South Aussie's own St Agnes brandy, a beauty at $17.99. Stanley 4-litre casks, $9.49, and Melbourne Bitter with a free packet of Thins potato chips, only $24.99 while stocks last. Get into your nearest Sip and Save. They're everywhere, with everyday low prices.
Acting is really just a grown-up word for playing pretend. I suppose I'm lucky I get to do it all the time. It's fun pretending to be something you're not. But you know what? Right now, I feel John Howard is playing a game of pretend with the Australian voters, and that's just not funny. I reckon Howard is pretending to want to keep Medicare when for years he's been saying he'll pull it apart. I reckon he's pretending to be on the workers' side when he's always wanted to cut wages and put workers on contracts. And I reckon he's pretending again when he says he'll protect the environment by selling off Telstra. The environment? He just wants to sell Telstra. There's no harm in playing pretend in my game, but when it comes to the serious business of who wants to lead Australia, pretending is a very dangerous game indeed. Authorised by Bill Hunter for the ALP, Canberra.
The new limited edition Pulsar and Micro Solaire have just been released, and Nissan have found a way to make them go really, really fast. How? $2,800 worth of extra value, with free headlight covers, free floor mats, and best of all, free air conditioning. The new Micro Solaire and Pulsar Solaire. They've got free air conditioning and heaps of extras, so you'd better hurry. They're going fast.
With Keno, you can choose from all sorts of combinations to give yourself the best chance. What other game gives you that kind of inside edge?
Welcome back to quarter time scores in the Ansett Cup. Adelaide 5-2, Melbourne 3-1. We told you it was 32 degrees at the start of the match. Currently, it's 30, so still very hot conditions in Adelaide. The weather going from 32 to 30 as we go down to Neil Curley. So, Curls, it looks like both Cowell and Liptak out of business for the night. What do you think of the first quarter?
I thought the first quarter was very good football. We saw the Crows coming out and trying to make a lot of movement out of defence, and it's very difficult for the viewer to see this because they're only looking at a very small screen. But they're desperately trying to get movement from defence to have free-running players going through the centre for long stuff into Modra or Wren. And it did work on a number of occasions, but they were lacking crummers up forward. Both sides have key forwards who have not yet featured in the game. Neitz at centre-half forward for Melbourne has been well held by first Robert and then Smart, and Hodges, of course, for the Crows up in the forward pocket, has not yet found the football. So two key forwards there out of contention for both sides. Interesting to note, Robert Shaw had his players together for a long time in the quarter-time huddle, talking to them as a group, whereas Neil Baum was doing a lot of individual chatting and just going quietly among his players. So, but Melbourne fought back well in the last 5 or 6 minutes to get rid of those two valuable goals. The centre work's about even. Steins and both Pittman and Renner getting their hand on the ball, and the clearance from midfield are about even as well. So I think the second quarters looks like being a damn good game of footy.
Thanks for that, Curls. I noticed Darren Cowell coming back on the interchange bench, so he's up and about for Melbourne. That's good news. So I'm not sure if he'll come back, but he's out there. And one of the Phoebes, I couldn't tell which one because I couldn't look at the numbers come off as well. We'll pick that up in a moment. There's Pittman and Bickley. Crows go to the right at screen. Melbourne to the left. Knockout competition. The Ansett Cup. Irving in the ruck. Pittman went early. Darren Jarman, quick left footer out of the centre. Attacking it was Seacamp. And Seacamp bangs it back towards half forward. Hilton and Rashudo. Rashudo and Smart just got in one another's road. Neitz in there, gets a high tackle from Smart and gets a free kick about 70 metres from goal. First kick coming up for David Neitz. One of the young guns in the competition. Outstanding couple of years, and both the Phoebes are off. No wonder I couldn't tell which one. Pittman's got it. At centre-half back. Does play the defence pretty well, Pittman. Wren, we saw, it was outstanding there before he was injured. Bickley onto Rashudo. Rashudo took that extra step, may have put him off. Poor kick. Primke gets hold of it, just gives it away. Seacamp, and out wide go Melbourne.
Looked like another set play, that one.
Well, there's Phoebe there, Matthew Phoebe. Must have come back on in a hurry to Hilton. Hilton to half forward. Lyon and Chalmers. Good job there by Chalmers. Forces it to the boundary line. Provided some excellent rebound in the opening term. There's the Melbourne interchange with Turley, Sampson, Cowell and Stephen Phoebe on the interchange for the Demons.
Yes, one of those players is holding there. They can't lock arms like that. I really thought that that's what we were trying to stop.
It's been pretty good to date, though, hasn't it, the rucks?
Alistair Clarkson getting up. A North Melbourne player. Being run with the Demons. So the bounce. Oh, that's a free. Accidents do count. And Jim Steins ends up with the kick and breaks this little bit of a deadlock. So from 55 metres out. Players, gee, it's a packed forward line. There are a lot of Crows players there. So what he does is just chips it to Lovett. Lovett attempts to play on his call, because that's right, he made a motion with his hands, not his head. Turns around and kicks to the front of the square. Great mark from behind. Alistair Clarkson takes a terrific mark with a sit and is a noted goal kicker. It's a good little jump, just pushed him under. Kicked 60 odd goals in his 90 games, so Alistair Clarkson, red and blue. Pretty important kick this, kick from 45 metres. Gets underneath it a bit, but it's starting to float. And, oh, it's floated through. Fourth goal of the Demons.
Well, if there's one thing that Melbourne has been renowned for in the last few years, the last 5 or 6 years, in fact, has been their ability to fight and just keep chipping away. They've never done the Demons. And this, despite the fact that Alistair Clarkson hasn't been there for so long, he's playing his part. With his first kick for Melbourne, he kicks a pretty good goal in anyone's language.
Back in the centre, the Demons have kicked the last 3 goals in the game. They've closed it up 5-2 to 4-1. Clarkson out of the centre, so he'll be happy with his start. Edwards gives it up to Neitz on the left foot, goes to the front of the square. Chalmers, Steins, quick hands would have got it to line. He couldn't quite get it out there. Tapped away by Chalmers, and again, Farmer clever. Across the face, mark taken by Tregenza. Chip to Anderson, doesn't quite get there. Bouncing ball, well played. Connell just held it up cleverly. He goes away to Bickley, tries to sweep one, just got a little bit of trouble. Edwards to Rashuto. Rashuto keeps his head, hooks it around the corner, some fancy stuff. Gets to Smart at half back. One bounce, a couple. He's a fine athlete, Nigel Smart, then centres the ball. Wren the target, as he's been most of the night. At the back, just sitting on it was Jarman. Here's Hopgood. Kicked Melbourne's first goal. It was their only goal for about 20 minutes before that late surge. Hilton just happy to run it over. And he is in trouble. It's Bickley's free kick. Good decision. He just gave it up, didn't he, Hilton? Refused to really make an attempt. And Anderson gets to the centre wing.
Greg Anderson. Both the player out wide in Costa. Costa can now run. He'll set himself up to go for goal from 45 metres out. The ball starts to swing, falls into the goal square, and is punched through. Great defensive work there from the Demons. So on to 5-4-125. Neil Curley, Darren Cow, how is he?
Yes, he's okay. He's sitting on the reserve bench and interchange bench, and will come back if required.
It's good news, Curls. Thanks for that. Gasper short to Clarkson. Third kick coming up. It's only been on for 4 or 5 minutes. Chips it away. Taken by David Grant. So some of the newcomers are doing all right for Melbourne. To Obbs. There's been a real change in this match. A big swing in fortunes. Tregenza and Hart, they force it out. So Melbourne coming back strongly. Ben Hart made the AFL All-Australian team in his first 2 seasons. A real accomplishment. Wren. Just too good then. Darren Jarman. Grant attacks it. Keeps it in front. Paves away. Seacamp. Just a check side to straighten the ball up. Line in the front spot. Well done, Chalmers. Hilton onto the boot quickly. And it's hit the behind post. Bouncing to hit it, so it'll be a throw in right forward pocket.
But much better signs for Melbourne.
It's Darren Cowell, Gerard.
He's looking a little bit glazy, but I'm certain he'll be back on the ground once his 15 minutes is up. But the better signs were that Hilton was roving at Gary Lyon's feet.
Oh, Lyon clever, snaps it round, comes to the front of the goal square, big fly from Rodman, almost marks it. Ben Hart has a bit of trouble with the ball, tries to get a handle on it. Foster, oh, clever in tight. Trying to draw players, gets it to Tregenza. He now kicks, and a 2-on-1 contest here. Caven flies, falls beautifully to Jarman. Jarman chips. Oh, what do you reckon that'll be? Chips straight to Pittman, and Pittman loses his feet on the way back. Kicks out in front of Hodges. Ordinary kick. Ingerson's right with him. Both players go to ground, and the umpire will have no alternative but to bounce.
Well, Tony Modra has come off the ground, Malcolm, and Ugrinic has gone on for his first run, but I think Scott Hodges would have to declare himself pretty stiff on that one.
Yes, wasn't a great kick in, was it? With clear. This is O'Brien on his right foot. No, he comes back to favour his left foot. It'll be interesting to see if he can do it. Phoebe jumps early. Tregenza does the right thing and puts it out of bounds. Much to the adoring fans over the outer side of the ground here at Football Park. So Ern and Wren, both hands in the air then. That was good. And then gives him a little whack in the tummy and will be paid a free kick against. Or was it off the ball? In fact, going to Phoebe. So I actually didn't see what that was for. Must have been off the ball. So Phoebe kicks, needs the only flyer. Read it beautifully. It is important for them now with Schwarz out. He goes on long, tries to set up Steins. Rodman comes back hard enough just to put some pressure on. Back to help his Jarman. Just so, looks so casual when he does it. It's just great, isn't it? And then kicks out wide to Smart, who can't control it. And out of bounds, half-back flank.
The Crows, Wren getting ready. It's 33-25. Steins and Wren. Steins in the front spot. Hilton roving it round the body. Edwards onto it. Marks in front of Farman. It's a good matchup. Plays it to Rodman on the half volley. Runs away. He's attacking centre half back. It's a good kick. Connell interfered with. Gets a free kick. Seacamp unhappy. Connell at between half back and centre wing. Rodman does deliver the ball very well on the run from half back. Little chip one, and I think Pittman might have given away a free coming off his boot. Now Sampson's come on for Uze for Melbourne, just in front of this bit of play. Primke, centre wing. Just a little chip to Glenn Lovett, sits underneath it. Neil Balme will be pretty happy with what's happened since the first 20 minutes. Adelaide have stopped a bit and Melbourne have been able to gather. Second kick for Lovett to centre half forward. Stein's front spot. Farmer roving. Clever handball through the gap. Gary Lyon. Farmer back again. Gary Lyon. Chalmers with him. Charman getting back for the Crows. Ball up about 40 metres from Melbourne's goal.
Smart play there by Farmer. It was the only way out. He kept the ball going. In fact, if Jim Steins had knocked it forward earlier in the quarter, there may well have been a result.
Wren did the roving off Steins that time. Anderson, Sampson, good play at the back. Neats, back to Irving. Didn't really take control. Nigel Smart, brilliant. Tregenza, little left footer. Pittman. Now Ugrinnik. If he gets the ball, he can really run 22, but a good tackle, Sampson. He's gone, Ugrinnik. Free kick, Melbourne.
Yes, welcome to the Ansett Cup, hey. Adam Ugrinnik. Chip out wide. Here we go again. There's set play from Melbourne and really has set him up here. Wren does well. Gives Anderson quickly to Pez. Great contest up forward. Oh, well done, Ingerson. Playing on his former teammate. Hopgood turns back in. Now switch play. And Seacamp gets onto it. Next kick will be out wide. And that's where it goes to Obst. And will it beat him across the line? And it does.
The field kicking is letting them down somewhat, Melbourne. I think Hopgood's a perfect example. He's been an excellent player for Melbourne. Big possession winner. He's had 13 possessions. In fact, he's had more than that. He's had 16 possessions. And yet, just a couple of times with those, he's just let himself down by delivering it awkwardly.
Yes, and from that throw-in, another bounce will take place. Yes, they really do stretch you, Melbourne, don't they? They have a lot of time with the ball out wide, so they're hard to score against. Try 11 stop McCarran. 11 belts it forward. Lovett has to sit and wait. Quick give to Obbs. That's clever. That's a real smart give from Obbs to Phoebe. And a beautiful kick to Gary Lyon. Oh, really set up by intelligent play then from Andrew Obbs. Now, Gary Lyon's going to have to kick this from, it's going to be outside 50. And we look at the skills, great kick. And the wind has actually died down a bit, so you would think after Alistair Clarkson's kick, I'd rate this guy a bit longer kick than Alistair Clarkson. You'd think he'd have to get it home from here. Kicks. Oh, he's got it home all right. He's got it easy.
On 7 Nightly News, animal liberationists will be at Bull Lagoon for the duck shooting. What will they get up to this time? Find out tomorrow at 6.
Nobody knows news like 7.
Barassi's best full forwards, the all-time legends, the modern-day champions.
Tony Modra. He does the things I used to do.
Oh, Modra!
Like the block at Ablett and Dunstall.
Who is the greatest goal sneak next week?
33 to 31, so the D's have kicked the last 4 goals in this match. Gary Lyon with 2. Handball by Clarkson was well done. Glenn Lovett gets it from O'Brien and goes to half forward. Just sitting, waiting line. Little one over the top. Neats couldn't quite get through. And the free kick going to Smart, who held his ground and then switches it out wide. It's been a long time since the Crows have scored a goal. Prosciutto sweeps it to Anderson. Anderson goes for distance. Long kick. Seacamp looks for a free kick. Costa seemed to have a bit of him. Tregenza chips away to full forward. Hodges outnumbered. Might get a chance at the back. Ingerson holds him up well. Gasper's little handball. Seacamp back to Ingerson. Ingerson's handball good to Hopgood. 17th possession. Chips away wide. Clarkson comes back, okay. Matthew Phoebe, who gave a beautiful foot pass away to Lyon a short time ago. Not so good this time. Prosciutto gets it at centre wing.
Hilton off the Turley for the Demons.
So Turley on the ground and Hilton coming off, and Anderson's coming off, and McCartney about to come on for the Crows for the first time tonight. Connell in the heart of the centre square. Adelaide looking for something. Now Hodges provides the lead. Connell kicks in that direction. Gasper got back, went to ground. Irving round the body on the left foot.
And Irving kicks back to the centre. Great contest there from all players. Smart, clever. Oh, doesn't he put some space in it when he really puts the accelerator down? Kicks. Oh, there's 3-on-1 situations happening again. Now some support from behind. The Demons must win this. They've got too many players back. And Gaspar mops up. Seems to me they're just putting one back all the time, Jared.
Yes, it's paying off for them in this quarter. I think the fact that Wren's just gone out of the game somewhat has been a big factor in the Crows going quiet.
As we look at Costa here, get caught. He really was met solidly there by Anthony Ingerson. Kick out wide, big pack of players. Hess with a smart hand, gets it off to Rashudo with that familiar kicking style. Here's his loose player back there, can't grab hold of it. Seacamp's made a difference at the back. Kripke unloads it. Clarkson. Oh, here we go. Sampson, he's absolutely got plenty of time to kick it. He really should do something with it. Neitz is there. What a mark.
Well, Neitz has been a little bit quiet, but as we know, he is a fantastic player, All-Australian last season. Yeah, just about make the distance from here.
I was just thinking that you would think he's got a kick from probably 56 or 57, and although Lyons went through by 4 or 5 metres, I don't think this kid's as long a kick. And he's just going to fall short. So helped through into the behind post. Now, with that being 6 points, 3 for the poster and 3 for the punching it through. Down to Neil Curley. Tony Modra. Neil?
Yes, Tony Modra's just back on the ground now. He's been down the rooms with the doctor. I'll just check and see if I can find out what is actually wrong.
Chapman to bring her back in. Thanks, girls. Neitz again. Wonderful hands. Now he'll bang it back to within 20, you'd think, if he goes for distance. Had an option wide, decided against it. Lyon now leads. He goes to Lyon. He's got him, I reckon. Oh, it's good football.
I was about to say that Melbourne have one deficiency up forward, and that they can't bomb the ball long and really expect that Gary Lyon will take a huge mark, because he isn't noted for being a great mark in packs, but this was outstanding play. Not just the lead, but the way Melbourne made some space. Neetz's kick was fantastic, and marking it there is very difficult.
40 metres out. He's a great kick line. He's kicked his third. The D's are in front.
Almost a surprising scoreline after that first 15 minutes. Deasman in front. They really are working hard. Lover starting to get some touches. Obst kicks. Farmer has been lively, looks dashing. Edwards kept his head over the footy well. It's almost that run on towards the end of that first quarter, Jared, when Farmer kicked that goal after that, and just seemed to grab some momentum in the game.
All of a sudden, it looked like Melbourne started to believe again in themselves, and the results are on the board.
This ruck work, I've really liked this. Phoebe, oh, that's clever. He finishes it off, that's super. No, it's not, because Nigel Smart was super as well. He really did cut him out.
Been a good battle.
Fantastic. Out wide to Robin. Robin has Rashuto in space. Balls to that player. Sampson with a great tackle. That is terrific, son. Oh, that is desperation and class. Now finish it off and it'll be greater, better. No, Hart gets in the way. Balls to Neitz. Big pack of players. And we used to say about the Ansett Cup, Jared, that it probably wasn't as fair dinkum as it was, but gee, it really has grown in stature over the years, hasn't it?
Yeah, wonderful competition now, and almost every club take this with absolute determination. They set out to win it.
Hesh's quick kick from Pittman. Just been told by Neil Curley that Modra's gone back to the rooms with the doctor, we believe. So Uze at about 55 metres. Look for Lyon. Just went too far. Rashudo's got hold of it. Melbourne by 5 points. Rashudo from centre half back. Sampson's been impressive. The way he took it off Rashudo a moment ago was just breathtaking. He's got that loose man, gets it wide to Clarkson, who's been effective. Centering kick. Stein's the target at the back, in the front. Neitz had a couple of goes. Steins tries to get through, can't quite. He's gone. Free kick to Adelaide.
Unfortunate there, but just like to pay credit to Alistair Clarkson. There was 2 bounces ago after a goal. He steamrolled his way through the centre, and he may well be the player that can replace the role that Tom Bridey does. And here's 50 metres, which would really be upsetting Neil Barn, because it was almost should have been a goal, and I think that may well have been for abuse of language, Bruce.
Under one of the rules that are being experimented with, Tyson Edwards gets hold of it from Robin Pesh, who's had a fair bit of the football tonight. Pesh goes to centre half forward. Good grab by Irving. Filling the hole there. Pesh with 6 kicks and a handball. Irving wide has got Stephen Phoebe at centre wing. Melbourne going very well here. Phoebe to half forward. Steins the target. Good take. Such a competitor, isn't he? You just must give him full credit, Steins. He's a lot of admiration for him.
It's a remarkable feat with...
one of the great stories in our game, isn't it?
No doubt.
Short, Turley, a juggler at 60 metres. Now Neat's getting back. Neats goes now, and so does Line. He goes to Neats, takes off Line at the back, goes to ground, plays it cleverly, handball out wide. Smart just ricocheted off him, couldn't quite. Bouncing ball, Clarkson will get a free kick.
He's just a little tractor. Alistair Clarkson just keeps on going, keeps on running in the straight line. And this has been an impressive start from him. Started on the bench, and since he's been on the ground, he's picked up 5 possessions, but he's been in and under.
Actually, you as a coach, Malcolm, had a lot of success with players that hadn't quite made it at clubs and did very well. I mean, Pickering's done extremely well, and McGrath and those players. Clarkson to kick from 30 metres just to give Melbourne a little cushion. He's got it. His second.
So anyway, I said to succeed today you need a vision. I said you need the best technology.
Precisely.
To give you the best image.
Precisely.
You need an Epson, I said.
Precisely.
I mean, look at that. So realistic. You listening to me?
Best technology, best image, so realistic. And you're about to say there's an Epson printer to suit everyone.
And there's... Precisely.
Back in the centre, 11-point margin to the Demons. And Ugrinic to Costa. It's around the body. Oh, that's not going for the footy, really. And they've got to play on. Pesh. Oh, finally. Hopkins has got on the end of a good kick. And I reckon he's been a bit stiff with some of the kicking into him.
Well, it must be about the 20-minute mark of the first quarter when Adelaide kicked their last goal. It's been pretty dry up in the forward line, and Scott Hodges is on the receiving end of a fantastic kick, but equally as good a mark.
So Scott Hodges, very slow and almost 3 or 4 steps. I don't remember him kicking like that the goal before. So obviously he's been working on something, but nevertheless the behind is what matters, and 10 points now the margin.
The goal
last 2.5 minutes. Here we go out wide. They're rattling everywhere here. This will be the set play again. I'm sorry to keep saying it, but they really do it, don't they? They go wide. Great contest from McCartney. Phoebe is a clever player. Kicks it round. Great contest again at centre half forward. Here's Farmer. Here's me a live wire. Will he come back and centre it? Neil Barnes will say you do. He doesn't quite do it as well as what he could have. And Gary Lyon puts pressure on, pulls out the back, Turley almost off the ground, Lyon back, and that is a terrific defensive action in the forward line for the Demons.
Geez, he's going to be exciting this season, Farmer.
Gee, if he gets behind you, you're going to take a week to catch him. Steins, they stand, good jump from Jarmus. Turley try and make something of this. Doesn't quite kick it hard enough or high enough or long enough for the 30-odd thousand here tonight, but Jimmy Steins accepts it gratefully.
Well, Jim Steins began his career at Melbourne as the second ruckman to Steve O'Dwyer, and he did spend a lot of time in the forward line. In fact, played full forward for the Vicks one time.
Oh, that's their 5th goal for the quarter. That's a great quarter from the Demons.
Pretend this TV screen is the mirror on your bathroom cabinet. Oh, you know what to do now then, don't you? Look in the yellow pages and call Clarkson's. They'll fix it fast. The mirror, the insurance, the mess, all of it. Who's a pretty boy then?
Yellow Pages, proud Olympic team sponsors.
Kick the last 7 goals now, Melbourne. They trailed at one stage 5-2 to a goal and now lead 8-2 to 5-4 and come away from the centre. They may increase that lead before half-time. A bouncing ball at the back. Smart to try and get back there with Lyon and Chalmers. Farmer forced through behind. 8-3, 5-4.
I remember saying in that first quarter, Bruce, that if they didn't kick a goal at one particular attack late in that quarter, you could see it getting out of hand here. And, gee, they got the goal, but you didn't expect them to get the next 7.
They got 2, didn't they, in 30 seconds with Lyon and Farmer. Big change came over it. Neats. Melbourne with the numbers. Irving's handball. Ox couldn't quite. Costa to try and break through.
Against Irving for a sling.
Now, advantage given to Jarman. Sweeps it to McCartney. He brings it out wide again. Rotherham, normally a good kick. Got his man. It's a free kick. So Hodges now to kick from about 50. He missed from about 35, 40. Legs loose. Geez, timed it all right. He's got it right there. Wren in the pocket. And Hopgood pretty happy, I think, to let it run through. McCartney coming off and Anderson coming on for the Crows. Modra a bit of a mystery at the moment. Not too sure why he's off, but obviously with some problems. And Hopgood now to bring it in. Melbourne just to hold it up. They won't know that they've got very little time to go, but there's only really time for one more shot, you'd think, from either team. Hopgood's kick out wide. You're grinning underneath it. Good effort by Primke. Pittman. Last chance for the Crows. Costa inside. Gets Caven. And Caven's going to have the last kick of the first half. He kicked the first goal of the match. So the recruit's in the spotlight here, isn't he?
And these are the ones that really do kill you. You've just got that nice break at going into half-time, and it gets whittled away by poor defence for 5 seconds.
Kicks from 45. It's good. He's got it. Gee, that is a handy one. Coming really from nowhere. Hopgood had 15 seconds when he took the kick in. Adelaide having 15 seconds to make something of it, and they were able to squeeze a goal. Caven with 2 first-half goals. He's only had 2 kicks, and at half-time, Jared, 6-5 to 8-3.
Yeah, what an extraordinary quarter. Crows didn't kick a goal that quarter. It was, in fact, after the siren. And Melbourne were just...
Gee, you made me worried for a moment. I thought your memory was going. Your short-term memory.
Well, I got you. But Melbourne were a totally different side. And the Crows, well, they're going to have to regroup because I think perhaps they went into this game thinking that it may well have been a bit easier than it was. But Melbourne just kept on tugging away and nagging away. Some of their newer players are going very well, and they'll go in very pleased at half-time.
With the score as the Crows go off as a group, it's Adelaide 6-5, Melbourne 8-3.
There'll never be a better game than the game we have today.
This 7 News Update brought to you by Colonial.
Good evening. Tonight, a Super League body blow for Rupert Murdoch. The federal court says no to his breakaway competition. Also, John Howard on the defensive as Labor leaks details of his savings policy. America grounds its Tomcat fighter planes after a series of disastrous crashes. And Craig McDermott's injury could shut down his tour. Details tonight. Now for the national weather.
Saturday, a brand new collection of amazing true stories.
These are the moments when very often the most unexpected things happen.
Enter the world of miracles and other wonders. Premieres 7:45 Saturday on 7.
Mobile net, digital. Mobile net, digital. Telstra Mobile Net Digital is the only cellular digital network that now covers almost as many Australians as the entire analogue network. That's an incredible 90% of the Australian population, which means Mobile Net Digital works
in a lot of places. The others won't.
Digital. Mobile net.
Mobile net digital. Further and further and further in front.
Here's good news for car buyers. The official Ford factory clearance sale is on now. Ford dealers must clear their 95 stock with massive savings on all Ford light trucks, like Couriers from $16,990, Australia's lowest price van Econo van from $17,777, and Falcon Ute from just $19,990. Plus, thousands of quality used cars at bargain prices. See your Ford dealer during our once-a-year official Ford factory clearance. You may never buy a new Ford for less.
Tomorrow at Harris Scarf, there's a big 15% off discount sale. Buy a big and save 15% off everything with the exception of mowers, barbecues, electrical, nursery furniture, sheds, tanks and cameras, 7.5% off. Harris Scarf, 15% off sale, all stores.
It's hard work keeping your nose to the grindstone if all you end up with is a sore nose. So much for hard work, mate. What you need is an investment partner like MLC. Their philosophy is quite simple. Higher returns, lower risks. And that's why over half of Australia's top 50 companies follow their nose and invest their super funds in MLC. So if money matters, talk to MLC.
Imagine living in the lucky country. But what if you knew that youth unemployment was running at 27.8%, that over 750,000 people can't get a job, that over 500,000 children are living in families with incomes below the poverty line, and that taxes are going up and up and up? And what would you think of their leader if after all this his response was,
What are people going on about?
sorry, it's just not good enough?
Authorised by Rob for the Liberal Party, Canberra.
Sunday, suck a bug. When Tim's outgunned at work and outmaneuvered at home, there's only one thing left to do.
I could be your soulmate.
Your soulmate would be the guy who rotates your tires.
You leave Murray out of this.
New Home Improvement, Sunday on 7.
I know it's true. Oh, so true. 'Cause I saw it on TV.
Excellent comeback by Melbourne. They kicked 5-2 in the second term as Adelaide had in the first. And at half-time they lead 8-3-51 to Adelaide 6-5-41. We mentioned at the start of the program that the high flyer in the AFL not playing tonight, Sean Smith. He joins us live from Melbourne. Sean with a broken arm. How are you going, firstly, Sean? And thanks for joining us today. How's your injury?
Injury's not too bad at the moment. The break wasn't a really bad break, but I suppose a break's a break, isn't it? So I'll be out for about 6 weeks. So
How did it happen, mate? Was it in a practice match, wasn't it, at Lavington?
It was at Lavington. I just went for the ball and took a chest mark, and I think it was Johnny Hassel ran at me to try and spoil the ball, and he just squashed my arm between himself and me, and it broke my arm. So
it's amazing, really, Sean, when we think of all the times you've been so high in the air and haven't injured yourself, and a simple chest mark like that, and you put yourself out for about a couple of months.
Yeah, you can't work it out, can you?
Gee, no luck for Melbourne pre-season. A lot of it's been catalogued already. David Schwartz's situation. I saw him at the Lightning Premiership in the accurate kick competition, and he looked like he was coming back tremendously, didn't he?
Oh, I mean, at training he was tremendous. I mean, the way he attacked the footy and the way he trained was unbelievable. We thought, well, you know, Schwartz is on the right track here, and when he hurt his knee at Laban, it was just devastating. You know, everyone just had that sick feeling in their stomach when they saw him go down, and sort of hoped that it wasn't his knee, but sort of it was pretty obvious what he'd done. So, but you know, when he did it, he's in the change rooms after the game. It was just like a maul. It was just the worst feeling I've ever felt in football.
Sean, he's got such a great attitude, hasn't he, that you wouldn't completely count him out.
Oh no, definitely not. I mean, when he did his knee during the year, I mean, you think it's just devastating, but he kept a positive attitude, and he got back to play this pre-season, and then he's done his knee again, and obviously he's had a thought about it, and he's decided to have another go at it, which is just tremendous.
Todd Viney's been a great leader at the club. You would have recognised that last season at Melbourne. He's off with Mark Philippoussis, who's been doing very well in America this week. Todd on the circuit. Turley seems to be going pretty well in the first half. He's going to be missed a lot, Viney, isn't he?
Oh, just sadly. I mean, if I was Barmy at the moment, I'd be sort of pulling my hair out, I suppose, because, you know, he's sort of rubbing his lips together, you know, with Toddy and Swarter coming back. But Toddy's a big blow. I mean, sort of to happen so suddenly, too, it was just sort of come out of left field. So, but, you know, someone else has got to put their hand up, and hopefully Turles will do that for us.
And Sean, how are you enjoying the game? You must be pleased with what you've seen after Adelaide got away to a flying start.
Yeah, it was a bit disappointing the first 20 minutes. We thought, oh, you know, wasn't good signs, but they fought back late in that last quarter, and it was good. It was very pleasing. Obviously, Barmy would be happy.
And from Melbourne's point of view, is this an important match for them, do you feel?
Oh, it is. I mean, sort of every game's important. I mean, it's very good just to set yourself up for the start of the year. I mean, if you can sort of get a few good wins under the belt before the season actually starts, it's good for the confidence.
And finally, are you doing much running, and what sort of training are you doing at the moment?
Well, I haven't done much this week because the arm's been a little bit sore, but Monday, no doubting the fitness guys will get me on the track somewhere and do some running. So
good on you, mate.
Looking forward to that.
Sean, thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much.
We're going to leave this segment. I think you'll enjoy this with one of the greatest marks in the 100 years of league football. Have a look at this. We go back to Brisbane at the end of last year.
55 metres out. Good kick. Oh, what a ball! Back of the year. Back of the year in the
The people of Australia have taken us on trust, and we'll return that trust.
The taxes have gone up.
And we'll return that trust.
And our foreign debt's up.
And we'll return that trust.
And our crime rate is up.
And we'll return that trust.
And the poor are getting poorer.
And we'll return that trust.
Unemployment's back up again, and youth unemployment has got even worse.
And we'll return that trust.
It's just not good enough.
Authorised by Rob for the Liberal Party, Canberra.
Right now, you probably have some insurance with one company.
Morning.
Some with another insurer.
Morning.
And some with yet another.
Morning.
Whereas you could have all your insurances at one place.
Morning.
SGIC.
Morning. Morning.
And get a much better deal.
Okay, I'd like 12 months cover for my car. My house. My life. So, what can you do for me? Yeah, what's the deal?
12 months on 3 different kinds of insurance. Well, how about a 3 months cover on each insurance?
A 3 month? Hey.
Or you might prefer 10% off the combined premiums.
10%? Oh, I like that. I'll take the 3 months extra cover. Yeah, the 3 months. No way. Take the 10% discount.
Well, it's up to you which option you take.
Definitely the 3 month. 10%. The 3 months.
The more insurances you have with SGIC,
the 3 months.
The more you save.
No, it's a deal. I'll take the 3 months.
SGIC. We'll see you through.
We've had to make a few changes in this year's contract, I'm afraid. We all have to be flexible about these things.
I don't suppose I have much choice now.
So, are you going to sign?
Under Howard, you'll be under pressure. Written and authorised by J. Lessie's UTLC, Adelaide.
Snap that trail there. Be aggressive.
% of top athletes polled prefer more carbos. And we got them. Powerade.
The people of Australia have taken us on trust, and we'll return that trust.
The taxes have gone up.
And we'll return that trust.
And our foreign debt's up.
And we'll return that trust.
And our crime rate is up.
And we'll return that trust.
And the poor are getting poorer.
And we'll return that trust.
Unemployment's back up again, and youth unemployment has got even worse.
And we'll return that trust.
It's just not good enough.
Authorised by Rob for the Liberal Party, Canberra.
Remember what it's like getting a loan? Don't put yourself through that again. Painless loans
That's the central difference. Australian Central.
Welcome back. Half-time here at Football Park. Adelaide 6-5, trailed the Demons 8-3 and by a margin of 10 points. The Crows have some new facilities. Max Stevens went for a wander around them.
Yes, $2.3 million. Without question, the most sophisticated training facility in Australian sport. It's practical and not overdone. However, to the uneducated, it could be mistaken for the Taj Mahal. A $110,000 gymnasium, a 50-seat player conference room with video systems, a 25-metre two-lane swimming pool of Olympic training standard, and a 35-metre football training area for warm-ups prior to a match. On the medical side, it's also first class. Massage rooms, 4 treatment spas, and physiotherapy facilities second to none. In addition, the players now have their own club rooms and recreational area. The brainchild of training services manager Trevor Jakes, the complex is streets ahead of any other AFL club.
See what a fantastic facility.
Yes, a little bit different to the tin sheds that Terry Danaher used to talk about. Will we ever see you in those rooms, Mel?
I doubt it very much indeed. Oh, hopefully I can walk through there one day.
Well, that's been a fantastic game, hasn't it? Almost played in 2 halves.
Yeah, actually, I really thought, as we talked about it, they got a bit dangerous early, the Crows, and for some unknown reason they lost their momentum.
Yes, I think that centre half back for Melbourne was a problem. Kripke was just not quite handling Wren, but then all of a sudden he got some support. Dean Irving, I think, has played a big role in that, and they've just quietened down that strength. And the fellow on screen, Alistair Clarkson, a new recruit for Melbourne, 10th year of football, and I think he may just find a little niche there at Melbourne. He really just motored them and just forced the ball forward and got them going.
Gee, I really love Andrew Obbs, the way he did that and just set that up. I mean, it's those senior players. They are senior players now, aren't they? And all those 4 that touched it then were all the senior players of Melbourne.
Gary Lyon getting into the game was important. We did talk with about 3 minutes ago about perhaps moving him away, but the farm plan has worked a treat, and with Gary Lyon back in the game, I think Nietzsche's improvement in the second quarter was significant. But most of all, the midfield of Melbourne has just completely dominated that quarter, whereas the Crows, I can't really think of a good player for them after having almost all the best players in the first quarter.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. Both sides are actually running Steins and Irving in and out of centre-half forward, similar to what they've done with Wren and Pittman.
Yes, it's interesting that Melbourne are reverting back to using the 2 ruckmen. Jim Steins, as we know, likes to run completely the whole game out, but he has been an excellent player also, and I think Irving has given them first use out of the centre.
Indeed he has. Well, they're led by 10 points, the Demons, and interesting second half coming up. We'll be back after the break.
I thank you for 100 years.
Tomorrow at Harris Scarf, there's a big 15% off discount sale. Buy a big and save 15% off everything with the exception of mowers, barbecues, electrical, nursery furniture, sheds, tanks and cameras, 7.5% off. Harris Scarf, 15% off sale, all stores.
A lot of people used to tell me all the things I couldn't do. Well, I did them. To be the best, you just have to work the hardest. That's why I use the new Rexona 24-hour intensive antiperspirant deodorant. It works harder to protect me for longer.
Rexona, it won't let you down.
Our getaway offer has been so popular, we've extended it to include the Cherokee Limited.
So you can buy the award-winning Cherokee Sport for just $42,968, no more to pay. Or the luxurious Cherokee Limited for just $49,888, no more to pay. Whichever Cherokee you choose, we'll pay all your on-road costs. So hurry to your nearest Jeep dealer and get away with no more to pay.
Imagine living in the lucky country. But what if you knew that youth unemployment was running at 27.8%, that over 750,000 people can't get a job, that over 500,000 children are living in families with incomes below the poverty line, and that taxes are going up and up and up? And what would you think of their leader if after all this his response was,
"What are people going on about?"
"Sorry, it's just not good enough."
Authorised by A. Rob for the Liberal Party, Canberra.
If you enjoy the delightful outdoor productions of A Midsummer Night's Dream and Twelfth Night, you'll fall in love with Glenn Elston's magical new production of Romeo and Juliet, starring Vince Colosimo and Rebecca Macaulay. Outdoors, under the stars at the Millswood Orphanage, Romeo and Juliet is a wonderful evening for the whole family. Book now at Bax.
It's sale time at Decorator Warehouse. Quality leather at sale prices. Save big dollars on factory orders too. Beat our sale price on any of our designs and it's yours, free. Decorator Warehouse, Under the Vines, Melbourne Street, North Adelaide and Unley Road, Unley. Open 7 days.
At Bank SA, we know it's the small things that are important. So we've introduced an incredibly tiny home loan rate. It's just another small way we work for you.
Welcome back as we have a look at the half-time match fluctuations in scoring. Adelaide led by 26 points, 3/4 of the way through the first term, and you can see Melbourne charging back at them and getting to a 16-point lead late in the second quarter, and now lead by 10.
And I think we had another axis of Erasmusism, this one, physicality. The line would go right through where the Crows stopped kicking goals, where Melbourne took over in that physical department, whereas they looked a little bit intimidated early in the piece.
Neil Curley at half-time, your impressions, girls?
Well, Bruce, as we've seen often, that football games, you know, the flow of the game can change very quickly. And it certainly changed in that quarter with Melbourne just in complete control. And I think it started in defence, that their defensive players were very, very strong in their, their approach to the ball and also their attention to their key forward. A very alert midfield, the rebound stuff out of defence was very, very good with good control. Set their midfield up with loose players, and also you had players like Lyon, Clarks and the Steins laid up forward, just started to present themselves and give some targets to players, looking ahead for movement. So they were very strong. It was a great teamwork, all for that quarter for Melbourne. Injury on Modra, he has a knee problem. They say it's only slight. Whether he'll come back on the ground remains to be seen. But with him going off, of course, Hodges didn't present the danger to Melbourne that Modra did in the first quarter. And players like Jarman, Tregenza, Rusciuto, Bickley and Wren all dropped out of it. And I think that was due to the pressure that Melbourne players put on those individuals, with Smart being, I thought, the only winner for the Adelaide Crows in that particular quarter. But there's a lot to go yet, and it's still going to be a great game of footy, and I'd be surprised if the Crows don't come back very hard this quarter.
Thanks, Curls. The weather, 29 degrees currently, so we've only gone down from 32 to 29 in the first half of the game. Liptak has his tracksuit on, so he won't be going back out. And I haven't seen Modra at all. 6-5-8-3. Modra didn't come back on the ground with the Crows team, so that little knee problem that he's got looks like it's going to hold him up for a while. Rusciuto out of the centre, sweeps a handball to half forward, hip and shoulder by Rim, well played by Seacamp, and a great smother by Bickley. Some good football all round, another smother, that time by McCartney. Irving now paves the way for Turley, whose handball was good under pressure. Hopgood had it cut off by Darren Jarman, out of play.
The Melbourne are running in the numbers, Bruce. They've always got that player in support that you can lay that handball off when you're in trouble.
Half forward. Crows in attack. Pittman in the front. Rusciuto can't quite. Holding the ball under this rule that if you've been given time and the tackle's okay, you get pinged. Matthew Phoebe. A couple of times tonight, Rusciuto's just taken one step too long. Glenn Lovett looking for Steins. It was a good focal point for Melbourne in that second term, playing at centre-half forward, after Wren had provided that for Adelaide in the opening term. Just chips away inside to Matthew Phoebe. And he's got options if he wants it to go wide. And now called to play on. Directs it to full forward. Line front spot, Neeks. Good tackle, smart. Bickley sweeps it out wide. Connell made a mistake, doesn't make too many of those. Will get a free kick for a high tackle against Farmer. And Connell to take the kick.
It's Matthew Connell off the bench, starting to get amongst the kicks now. Bit undecided what to do here. Now decides to go long. Robert has to sit from behind and takes it pretty easily in the end. Off to Jarman. Jarman with that chip kick to Caven. Wants support. Gets it from Johnson, the youngster. First kick in senior footy to Wren. In front, play on. Kicked off the ground again by Caven. Ingerson wearing Hodges very closely, forces it over the line. And Gerard Healy motions as off his shins and
might have just snuck off his boot, did it? I'm not sure.
Thought it might have been out on the full, Gerard.
Yep. Sean Wren playing deep in the forward line now, starting from the square.
And tapped over the back. Caven gets hold of it. Primke underneath it. Hopgood to Seacamp. Really has made a difference, Seacamp. Got a lot of the footy. Big fly. Irving almost. Jarman almost as well. Johnson goes to ground. Obbs through traffic. Oh, Jarman, that's terrific. The second effort. And that almost was holding the ball then, because he actually made no attempt once he got hold of the field. So Darren Jarman back in the Crows colours and looking forward to playing with brother Andrew in the season.
Didn't notice Modra there at all on the interchange for Adelaide.
Caven backhanders it. Seacamp there. Costa harassing. Harasses beautifully and then pitches it out his pocket and kicks the goal. Just what the Crows needed. The first goal after half-time.
Yes, on top of that very dangerous one just before half-time that often swings the momentum. The Crows are all of a sudden back and looking pretty dangerous, but this was just an outstanding individual performance by Costa, who really just produced a goal out of nowhere. Seacamp had to get rid of the ball. He knew he was gone for all money. In fact, he could have almost been free kick. Costa just followed up with one round the corner to emulate the deeds of Darren Jarman in the first quarter.
Game tightening up, 7-5, 8-3. Darren Cowell getting ready to come on for Melbourne after he's carried from the ground on a stretcher. In the first quarter, Jarman gets his 10th kick for the game. Good take by David Grant against Caven, who's kicked a couple of goals. He's only had the 3 kicks. Grant wide. Cut off by Connell. Tackle on Jarman.
Play on.
Going to come back, I think, now, because no advantage. Is it Costa, is it? He's been lively early, as he was in the first term. Hodges the target. Ingerson, who's done a great job. Caven's handball. Back to Hodges. Hopgood throws him off it. Well played. Out of play. Right forward pocket for the Crows. Scotty Hodges.
His confidence, just wonder about the moment. He's been under enormous pressure, isn't he?
Wren and Irving. Irving just judged it better. Wren got caught underneath it and gets a good long kick away in Stein's direction. He's done that a couple of times tonight. Just forced to Robin away. Sampson clever to Lovell. It was a terrific smother though. Jarman brilliant. Oh, the give there was outstanding as Robin takes it. That first give from Ben Hart. Tregenza wide. Bickley could feel the man coming. Got it to Connell. Connell tries to get around. Can't get around Farmer. Goes back. Ben Hart's long handball okay to Bickley. Bickley trying to find space. Couldn't. Was brought down. Has a second go. Then grabs it underneath. Tackle on him, and he's gone for holding the ball. It was a good decision.
Darren Cowell back on the ground. He's replaced Seacamp, who perhaps just suffered due to that mistake. But very surprising that Alistair Clarkson not on the ground.
Gasper short. Can't control it. Sampson, unfortunately, slews off the side of his boot, but he's done some special stuff as Clay Sampson. It's a real player of the future. Sporting a new haircut. Melbourne by 4 points. 15 3/4 minutes to go in the third quarter. To Turley onto his left foot, confident on that side of his body. Rodman does well, played from in front and got the value. Lovett can't grab hold of it, gives it up to Hart. Hart goes bang, right to centre-half forward. Nearly a mark taken. McCartney underneath it. Pittman there as well. And be a ball up some 65 metres from the Crows' goal. And the crowd's not happy over that side, and I'm not sure what for. So this is Chris Mitchell, senior umpire on the panel. Gee, I really do like this ruck work. They really aren't hanging on very much. It's terrific. Connell kept his head down there. That was good. Jarman's probably the best quick kicker in the competition. But the free kick will go back to Connell. And we're just going to, this is one of the great rules of footy. Because you're a metre offline, you have to go back. And some of the rules we want to change, so I reckon we've got that one right and save a bit of time as well. Anyhow, Connell kicks. Oh, Pesh, brilliant. Snaps. And it's missed. So another behind, and the Crows starting to pepper as the pressure now mounts on the Demons.
On this hot night in Adelaide, 29 degrees the temperature at the start of the second half. Good crowd, would be close to 30,000. Grant to bring it back in for Melbourne. They lead 8-3 to 7-6. Steins and Turley the target. Through Turley's fingers. Caven, little give okay. Tregenza squares it. Pittman, handball. Robin, little chip pass. And Obb's able to take it from Costa. Obb swings it out wide to Grant. Gets himself into a bit of trouble, but cleverly finds Primke. Primke from half back. Goes for distance. Good kick. Out wide to Hilton.
It's a great kick, that one. Finding a man from 60 metres.
Hilton looks for Steins. Well played, Rodman. They've had a good duel. Rodman now to straighten the body, and that's a good kick too to McCartney at centre wing. Most of the time in the first half on interchange. Pittman was short for him. He goes against that, goes long in the Hodges direction. Ingerson with him. Play on called. Pesh over the top. Does it okay. Back to Pittman at 48. Good kick to Wren, but beautifully cut off. Away goes Tricky, or does it with a bounce. He's gone. Play on call. Love it. He's just had a couple of fumbles under pressure. Caven. Back to Gasper. Slews off the side. Phoebe goes for it. Out of play, centre wing.
And when in trouble, the Demons certainly know where to head, Mel.
Yes, go to the boundary line, don't they? I saw Neil Baum's comments on it. He thought it took away from the spirit of the game, and it also takes away from his game plan. But they've done it very well so far. Great game at the moment. Terrific pressure. Ends with Jarman. Oh, he stands and unloads at 65 metres with a big torque. Almost taken there by Connell. Under pressure, the ball falls forward. Ingerson tacks it ferociously, then finds his own teammate in Grant. Pesh pinches it. Another one. Kicks. The ball won't swing back, and a point results. So I think Pesh has had two exciting snaps in the last 2 or 3 minutes of play as Glenn Lovett takes a rest. And David Grant to bring it back in.
Well, Glenn Lovett's an excellent player, as we know. He's been a terrific stalwart for Melbourne. But sometimes players don't slot into form directly. He has just got a case of the fumbles, as you pointed out, Bruce, so give him a couple of minutes on the bench.
Irving recovers well. Gives Phoebe some sort of chance. He gives it up. Tight work on the boundary line. And the ball is then held up and a bounce right on the boundary line, probably 80 metres from the Crows' goal.
Uze coming on for Sampson. And Stephen Phoebe. Gee, a really tight contest. Pittman on the left foot, does pretty well, gets it about 30 metres closer to goal. Hopgood stops, waits. If he's tackled, he's in trouble. Got away, floats at the centre wing, bounced just inside and out. I mentioned earlier that these two teams have played one another 8 times. 4 of those matches have been under 10 points. It's the first time they've played one another in an Ansett Cup game. They've had 2 or 3 low-scoring, tight matches here at Football Park. They've gone right down to the wire, and it looks like it might be a similar case tonight. The free-flowing scoring we saw earlier on is long gone. Free kick to Rashudo in the back.
Doubly called that one from the umpire where there had to be 3 or 4 half chances before he gave that free kick. Even the throw here, I think, is pretty clear.
Well, he's paid it in the back to Rashudo. At centre wing, goes inside 50. Hodges a target. Ingerson, good grab.
Geez, he's been a great player, Ingerson, at full-back for Melbourne. Just seems to have that extra little bit of speed that can help you slot off or chop off a pass.
Rashudo in front and accepts it gleefully. Mark Rashudo. Really want to try something different. He changes it back to the front of the goal square. All players converge on it. Obbs, gives it off to Cow. Good to see him back. One of the few times I thought they might go down the middle barrel, but they didn't. Ben Hart chipped it out. Connell was a player out wide and ends with that player in Kim Costa. Try to be held up. Johnson gets it and kicks it. Certainly an early nudge there from Ingerson. The crowd doesn't like it. Rimke's caught with the ball, shrugs off the tackle and ends out with Adam Uze onto his left foot. Chips the ball, can't control it. Going through the hands of a Melbourne player there, and Connell just keeps it round. Darren O'Brien it was, just going back. Uze has a chance to give it back to him. But there it is on screen, number 38. And that's the lad from West Perth. And Matthew Connell sees it out. Neil Baum. Barry Richardson alongside him. Rueful shake of the head. It's a great spot to be in February. Melbourne by 2 points. Pinched by Rashudo, getting some kicks. Quickly just stands and kicks it. Brent certainty. Oh, he can't get hold of it. Goes to ground. Caven for his third, perhaps. Unselfishly across the goals. Hodges can't get it. He cannot buy a kick. And the Crows move that point closer, and that is the margin at the moment.
Bit stiff here for Scott Hodges because it was a good job there by Caven, but he just had to make the extra millimetre to get it or even kick it out of the air. But I think Ingerson is just probably flirting with his luck a little bit with a few of these infringements.
McCartney, Melbourne by a point. Off the side of the boot by McCartney, not a good kick. Mark taken by Uze. At centre half back, he's got Turley running for him. Goes out there now. Turley onto it. At centre wing. He chips away, hugging the boundary. Gets to O'Brien. Played in the Premiership last year in Western Australia. Gets to 50. Oh, Ben Hart, lovely fly, good mark. So neat, Ben Hart. To Edwards. Edwards at half-back, nice kick also. Gets to Pittman. It's his birthday today, Pittman. 27 years of age. To centre wing. Standing his ground was Bickley. Centres it. Not going to get there. Irving's got it. Nothing much happening at centre half forward for the Crows. Irving wide. Turley again. What a superstar as Hilton comes off. And they're going on Clarkson. What a superstar Turley was in the early 90s. Here's Smart. Squaring it up. To Connell. Inside. To Rodram. Normally a good finisher. Goes to Hodges. Good stretch. Ingerson well played. Jarman. Handball. Good. Caven. Caven from 55. Left foot. Right there. And again well played by the Melbourne defence. To Gasper that time getting across Pittman. And maybe if Caven had seen Jarman lurking outside of him, who in the handball, Jarman would have been able to make the distance. But still, wasn't a bad effort by Caven. 8-3-7-8.
Yes, tight point. Wren from over the top. Tries to handle back. Obbs, usually pretty clever. Pesh was as aggressive as well. And Hopgood there to help out.
You'd be pulling your hair out if you were a Crow defender or even midfielder, because they really have done their job getting the ball into the attack, but just can't quite get one on the board at the present time.
No, fantastic pressure. We're about 25 metres out from the Melbourne goal here. And there's a rucking infringement. And it'll go to Pittman. Well, so David Pittman for the Crows.
He has got the arm just tucked underneath Pittman's left shoulder. So I'm sure that's what the infringement was for. But They had to give one away eventually. I think the umpires have been pretty fair to Melbourne. It's got to be said.
Big stats for David Pittman. 16 touches. Kicks the Crows in front.
She's the wife any man would die for. Sunday.
Did you get the gun?
She's cheating on her husband.
Were you spying on me?
This year's Golden Globe winner, Australia's Nicole Kidman. In a murder mystery so thrilling.
He's looking at us.
It takes you to the edge of excitement. And beyond.
Oh, it's not over yet.
Nicole Kidman, brilliant star of To Die For.
What the hell are you doing in here?
With Alec Baldwin and Bill Pullman in Malice. 8:30 Sunday on Channel 7.
8-8 to 8-3. Adelaide by 5 points. Jarman. Uzo couldn't quite G. That the dangerous McCartney. Good to Costa. Free kick coming back to McCartney. What a strange game. Adelaide kicked 5 of the first 6 goals. Melbourne kicked the next 7. Adelaide have kicked the last 3. The way it's flowed. McCartney in the centre square.
The wind definitely now favouring the end to which the Crows are kicking.
Gary Lyons hardly got close to the footy of full forward in this term, has he? So Melbourne have done a good job in a way to hold Adelaide up, considering what play they've had. He kicks it right to the goal square. Wren had 3 opponents. Hodges, free kick. Against O'Brien.
Just to clarify the wind, it's not a gale by any means. Just a light zephyr going down that way.
Sure, I was interested in Ingerson then. He's done everything right tonight. That one in a pack of 5, he went for the mark.
Right.
And ironically, his players ended up with a free kick. It's almost good he's got a great way of levelling out.
Hodges from the pocket. He's got it. So Adelaide sneak away. 9-8 to 8-3. That Caven goal just at half-time. It's important now, isn't it? It gave Adelaide something at half-time.
I'm certain it gave them a big lift. And I think it also just takes more away from the side that goes in who haven't kicked the goal. They're in control, and all of a sudden they've just let one slip when they shouldn't have. But well done to Scott Hodges. He hasn't had much luck. He's been working hard. Finally, he got one.
Yes, so quickly out to 11-point margin now to the Crows. Working very hard in around the centre here. Balls to O'Brien. Kicks it. Oh, fantastic jump from Tyson Edwards. And gets up running. Now in trouble, forced onto the left foot. Oh, that's holding the ball. That is absolutely taking a long time to get rid of it. Farmer will be called back, and that's just disappointing. They really take some time to kick it, Melbourne. It's just traditional of Neil Barr. He really does like to players to finish off when they get to this situation. Where's the hole? Now kicks it high. That's interesting. That's virtually to a spot. Oh, 58 up in the pack. And the boys got nothing else to do but end up under a lot of players' feet. It's under 6 minutes to go this third quarter. It's been an entertaining game.
I think important at this stage that the Melbourne wingmen really man up, because that's the only way the ball will get out.
Very true. Oh, it's caught. And as we watch this bit of play unfold, it falls to Ben Hart. And he kicks it out wide. With the run of it to Bickley. Cowell puts pressure on him. Now O'Brien. Oh, fantastic play, Mark Bickley. Great play from Cowell. And the 4 of them have a go. And I think that is a free kick for a high tackle. The umpire has played it that way. So Mark Bickley. Gee, it's February. Gee, they're fair income, aren't they? Here goes Ben Hart. Through the middle. Jarman in space. One step kick and it goes 60 metres. Big pack. Big fly to Smart. Open goal. Oh, put it out the ground.
Introducing the new 3.5-litre double overhead cam 3.6 Mitsubishi Pajero. With its luxurious 7-seat interior and 153 kilowatt engine, now giving over 40% more power. It's no wonder it puts you in front, out back.
10-8-8-3, Seacamp on for Melbourne. So now Adelaide have kicked the last 5 goals after Melbourne had kicked the previous 7. A strange old game, but the Crows are away, 10-8 to 8-3.
Greg Anderson just back on the ground for the Crows.
McCartney coming off. Jarman's been good, 12 kicks. There's Jason McCartney. 68 to 51. Got to say it's the scoring end, don't you? Cow around the body. I'll just work this out. Adelaide 5. Adelaide have kicked 9 goals at that end, 9 of their 10. And Melbourne 5 of their 8 at that end. So 14 of the 18 goals have been to the left of screen. So maybe there's a bit more in it than we thought.
It would appear that Tregenza, Sampson, all players over on it. Johnson paddles it out. Bickley misses Prosciutto, but can spin around. Wants the run of Tregenza and gets it. Well, here he goes again. There was a great lead on from Wren. If only he saw it first. But it's probably easy sitting up here sometimes. It ends with Cow. But the first chip was a great lead from Wren from 30 metres out. He goes to Steins, chubbed out by Anderson. Jarman just cruises round. He goes long back there. So there's more pressure on that goal square. Ingleson stands up again. Cow just won't take possession of the ball. Just being a bit fumbly. And is pushed too easy off it. Anderson gives it to Pesh. Pesh stands and kicks. You think it's made for Wren. Oh, he's going to play it. And to play that, Jared? 1, 2, 3.
Well, it's definitely a light ball. I think sitting up here, I'd say perhaps not. If I was out in the crowd there, I'd say definitely. No, I don't think that's a no. Not at this level. I think one of the problems that Tregenza's got with his lack of vision is that he definitely drops his head down to watch himself bounce the ball, so he takes his eyes off the player forward. The more skilled players in that skill itself basically use their peripheral vision to control the ball, keeping their eyes up.
Oh, that's simple. Sean Wren kicks his second.
Can't hold his beer, mate.
Wren with a couple of goals now. Adelaide has kicked 5-3 in this quarter. Melbourne yet to score. Neil Baum knows that better than anybody else out here. 74 to 51. They really need one, Melbourne. They can't afford Adelaide to get another, even with the flow of this match. And this obviously being the scoring end. Brilliant Jarman. Absolutely outstanding third quarter. Tapped on. Hopgood may get one. No goal.
I think this is a pretty good decision by the umpire. Hopgood, I think, from here, had control of the ball. They just paddled it in front.
Struck.
Yep.
Yeah. I was going to say that another goal to Adelaide puts them not out of reach, but makes it very difficult. And let's see if Tregenza can kick it. He's missed.
Gives a lot of points.
He's unfortunately not a great finish. He's only kicked 15 goals in 85 matches and has burst into the forward line so often, hasn't he, in the 6 seasons, but not a great goal kicker. Here's Grant.
Grant kicks out wide. Oh, Steins is actually held up beautifully then by Cave and allows Tregenza to try and finish it back with a kick. And look, that is wonderful play. So, I mean, there is a time in football that you actually wake up, Jared, don't you? You just say, hang on, I can do this now. And for him to finish off like that, it's terrific confidence, I reckon.
Well, I think he knew that his last couple of kicks were pretty ordinary. And Simon Tregenza has really had a marvellous couple of years in AFL football. He had his critics early in his career, but I think he's been a tremendous player for the Crows at a time when they weren't really firing. Interesting to see Pittman here looking around, almost trying to find someone to give it to, but once he's decided to kick the goal, got to get his concentration right.
So David Pittman from 40 metres, he really does stab at it a bit.
You see that so often, don't you? A player just not quite in a great mind to kick because he's continually looking for an option, and then doesn't go back and do his set routine before he kicks the ball.
Yeah, we saw Robert Shaw coming down early. He knows there's not very long to go. David Grant kicks out again. This time Primke sits underneath it and takes it easy.
Gets it to Gasper, smothered by Rashudo. Good. Here's young Sampson. Quickly onto his foot. Geez, good player. To Turley, that was clever. He turns 20 tomorrow, Sampson. A birthday. Well, he celebrated a bit tonight. Lovett just had to wait. Edwards able to take it off. Caven to Bickley. Bickley, little one. Oh, good stretch by the big man. I'm not sure what he is in the old language. He's about 201. It's about 6'8" or something. He's a terrific stretch.
Look, he's going to be difficult, Jared, but, you know, if he does lead and they use him, to find the bloke that's quicker than him on him is going to be difficult.
Now, Crows have had 2 chances. Tregenza and Pittman have both missed from about here, and Wren hooks it. So Adelaide could have buried Melbourne in the last minute and a half, and they haven't done it. They've had 3 of the easiest shots for goal that we've seen tonight, and they've missed them. And Wren knows that 11-11, 8-3. Gee, a lot more scoring shots now. Double as Grant brings it back in. We've seen late goals in this match in the quarters. Caven on the siren at half-time. Primke, Sampson. Neats, he's hardly seen the football.
Oh, good kick.
Off the ground. Clever by O'Brien. Farmer chips. Chance for Seacamp. Goes to ground. Farmer line. Maybe just got in Farmer's road, actually. Farmer again, clever. He's gone for holding the ball. And the Crows will be pretty happy there because Melbourne were going forward and Adelaide have had a very productive quarter. They kicked 5-6. It could have been better but for those 3 misses late. And Melbourne didn't score. It's 11-11 to 8-3.
Hard to be critical of Jeff Farmer on that occasion, but he could have kept going in and kicked the goal. But he saw an opportunity to set a player up who was a Seacamp. It was only 15 metres out of goal, but then his disposal just wasn't quite low enough. So they missed a big opportunity there, Melbourne, just to pinch back another 6 points. So with a 26-point deficit going in at three-quarter time, Melbourne are really going to have to rediscover the spark that they had in the second quarter to finish over the top of Adelaide. But when you consider, I think, Neitz just went out of the game again in that quarter. I think Nigel Smart had the better of him. In fact, kicked a pretty telling goal early. If they can get those star players back in, they're not without a chance.
So a 6-goal turnaround in that term. Adelaide now lead 11-11 to 8-3.
Gladiators you won't believe, hits you can't imagine. New games from another world. Grab a front row seat for the biggest show on earth. International Gladiators, 6:30 Saturday on 7.
Imagine living in the lucky country. But what if you knew that youth unemployment was running at 27.8%, that over 750,000 people can't get a job, that over 500,000 children are living in families with incomes below the poverty line, and that taxes are going up and up and up? And what would you think of their leader if after all this his response was,
"What are people going on about?"
"Sorry, it's just not good enough."
Authorised by A. Rob for the Liberal Party, Canberra.
Oh, I've been up to Cunningham's Warehouse, yes sir.
Famous brand C90 audio tapes, $1.50. Pierre Cardin gift packs, absolute bargain. Our price, $19.99. Scenario AM/FM car radio cassette, $29.99. Casio scientific calculator, $27.99. Revlon nail strengthener, $1. Attention hairdresser, Sensitherm permit kit, $2. Reading glasses, various magnifications, $5 a pair. And fashion sunglasses, UV protection, $2.99 a pair.
Cunningham's Warehouse, yes sir.
Hilton Motor Company have expanded. Yep, to Burbridge Road. Hilton Motor Company is having a huge stock clearance of low-priced autos from $999 to $399. Sedans, wagons, hatches, big cars, little cars, manuals and autos. The Hilton Motor Company. Easy finance, rent or buy. Where good people with no credit are welcome, where no application is refused, and where most credit problems are solved. Hilton Motor Company, near the corner of Burbridge and South at Mile End South.
The people of Australia have taken us on trust and we'll return that trust.
taxes have gone up.
And we'll return that trust.
And our foreign debt's up.
And we'll return that trust.
And our crime rate is up.
And we'll return that trust.
And the poor are getting poorer.
And we'll return that trust.
Unemployment's back up again, and youth unemployment has got even worse.
And we'll return that trust.
It's just not good enough.
Authorised by A. Rob for the Liberal Party, Canberra.
Hal Leather's Big Leather Sale is now on. We've slashed prices on chairs, recliners, couches, Chesterfields, full suites, the lot. We've slashed the price, but not the quality. Don't miss the Big Leather Sale. Hal Leather, North East Road, Windsor Gardens, Grote Street City and South Road, Edwardstown. Open 7 days.
Right now, you probably have some insurance with one company.
Morning.
Some with another insurer.
Morning.
And some with yet another.
Morning.
Whereas you could have all your insurances at one place.
Morning.
SGIC.
Morning. Morning.
And get a much better deal.
Okay, I'd like 12 months cover for my car. My house. My life. So, what can you do for me? Yeah, what's the deal?
12 months on 3 different kinds of insurance. Well, how about a 3 months cover on each insurance?
A 3 month? Hey.
Or you might prefer 10% off the combined premiums.
10%? Oh, I like that. I'll take the 3 months extra cover. Yeah, the 3 months. No way. Take the 10% discount.
Well, it's up to you which option you take.
Definitely the 3 month. 10%. The 3 month.
The more insurances you have with SGIC,
the 3 month.
the more you save.
No, it's a
All right, I'll take the 3 month. SGIC. We'll see you through.
Welcome back, 11-11 to 8-3. Jared, you made a point about Simon Tregenza and the method in which he bounces the ball.
Yes, he definitely accentuates the head drop. We'll just see this one here, where he takes his eyes clearly off what's happening in front of him and watches the ball. That, in fact, is the time, if you're going to tackle a player, you're running the same way as him, to reverse and go at him. And you can occasionally catch him off guard and tackle him. But also what's happening is, I was just looking up, and Sean Wren led at the exact time when Tregenza dropped his head. So he, in fact, lost his vision. The classic bouncers of the game, I remember Doug Hawkins and Robert Flower, and what they didn't excite the Melbourne players, weaving his way, the Melbourne supporters, weaving his way through the crowds. Basically never took his eyes off the ball. Sorry, never took his eyes off the play in front, just used his peripheral vision to get to it.
Curls, what about the scoring in this? With 15 of the 19 goals kicked at the end of the Melbourne are going in. Is there anything in the wind? Neil Curley. Curls,
No,
15 of the 19 to the left.
No, there's not a lot here, Bruce. Although the scoring's been down the on the left, the breeze is just about virtually across the ground. It was just a strong quarter by Adelaide. They played very well. And those players we mentioned at half-time that were down all came good, particularly Robert, of course, gave great support. So it's going to be a good quarter. Neil Barn was very, very vocal then. Much different to quarter time.
Thanks, Curls. 28 degrees. The temperature here, so it's still very, very warm conditions. Adelaide with a good lead, 11-11 to 8-3. Sampson's left-hand handball, taken by Cow, running away, one bounce, gets it to centre-half forward, just ricochets off Gary Lyon. Glenn Lovett will be looking for a good last quarter. On the up to Uze for goal, and he kicks it behind. Melbourne into attack immediately. They didn't score, remember, in the third quarter, and they've kicked the first score in this last quarter within a minute. There's Tony Modra, left knee, plenty of ice on it, coming back. So it's a blow to the Crows. They lost Luke Tack early, but Modra, so he's back in action throughout this Ansett Cup series. Jarman, been terrific. That's his 15th kick. To Neats, though, to Lovett, who can finish off. Doesn't kick that particularly well. Tyson Edwards underneath it, good mark. Had a good awareness of where everything was there, Edwards. Just made a blue in the third quarter when he took too long to get rid of the ball. Was caught for holding it. So Adelaide down to 20 men. Chalmers out wide. Steins and Neats were the two players for Melbourne. Smart with them. Little handball by Neats, got to Stephen Phoebe. Tregenza to Ben Hart. The Crows away.
Ben Hart bouncing through the middle. Tried to draw a player. Now has to chip it out in front. Running to the ball. Big fellow in Wren. Gets an awkward bounce. Tap back. Following up his passion. Anderson called to play on. Can kick on the run, Greg Anderson. Can kicker and has hit the post. Oh, gee whiz. About 2 weeks ago would have got 3 points for that, but only a third of the value, and a very, very high bump there. But Gregory Ansett scores a point for the Crows. Kick in. Balls to Clarkson. Players in front of him, he does use them, it's Lovett. Kicks to Nice. Off hands, great read there from Phoebe. And Rockman playing in front will take the easy chest mark. Gives it off to Ben Hart. Swings back into the centre of the ground. They're not frightened to do this, the Crows. Rasuno runs and runs hard. Met by Lovett. No free kick. Costa gets his man underneath. Count. The ball won't sit well. Let's give it a free kick. And Jared Healy throws a piece of paper at the umpire from behind the stand here at Football Park.
Well, I thought it was a little bit of a give me, that one, a bit of an easy one. But there's no doubt that the ball's up this end because Marcus Seacamp was behind. Entanglement of legs. I'm not sure who's at fault there. Bloke behind or the bloke in front?
Kim Costa been a very good player tonight. Kicks. And is it hanging on? The crowd are happy. And Kim Costa's kicked his second.
On 7 Nightly News, animal liberationists will be at Bull Lagoon for the duck shooting. What will they get up to this time? Find out tomorrow at 6.
Nobody knows news like 7. Monday night, Adelaide's filthiest restaurant exposed.
Bad cockroach infestation.
It's popular, but it's putrid.
Deep fries, etc. that hadn't been cleaned properly.
Have you eaten here? At 6:30 Monday on 7.
It's the biggest margin of the night. 32 points, 12-12 to 8-4. Costa with 2 goals. Bickley from the centre. Adelaide now travelling like winners. Into the pocket, Ingerson. Good stretch. He's played very well tonight. Wren back there with him. And Adelaide within 30 metres of the goal. They've dominated the second half. They'll be happy with their recruits. They'll be disappointed with a couple of injuries, Liptak and Modra. But Caven's kicked a couple. Hasn't had many touches. Couple to Costa. Jarman's been magnificent. Here's Glenn Lovett. Out wide. Uze. Tregenza with him. So some pace between those two. Uze hugging the boundary line and now finding it now to play. There's McCartney and Ugrinnick. Ugrinnick hasn't had much of a go tonight. Steins, Pittman, Anderson, inside 50, long bomb, good kick, it's close, he's got it! What a goal! It's great for Greg Anderson, who has been struggling a bit. That'll lift his stocks, 13-12 to 8-4.
Outstanding piece of ruck work also. Just to get that ball down to Greg Anderson, who knew he had the escape with his left leg. Could always go to the boundary, didn't have to come back inward. But no doubt about the shot at goal. It was an absolute gem.
So Adelaide just to creep that bit further ahead, and Melbourne really have to do something now if they're going to stay in this game. Costa busy. And 4 Melbourne players ended up in and around Costa. But they're still trying. Redirected enthusiasm's the best way to go. You really don't need 4 players at one. Nevertheless, throw in. Obbs belts it forward. Tregenza stops. Now kicks. Too high really for Greg Anderson. That's a nice mark from Gasper. So out they come again wide. And Stein's recipient.
Showed some promise tonight, Damien Gasper.
Yeah, since Modra's gone off the ground, probably. Sampson. Kicks it high. Neats and Smart. Oh, that's good play.
Great work there by Nigel Smart. Neats loves taking the front spot. If you can outgun him in that area, taking away one of his strengths.
Hasn't normally been a body player either, Nigel Smart. He's really gone at that with Neats tonight. Chips with Connell. And his kick falls short. Clarkson has been called, must have been below the knee. So therefore that is, well, no, that's maybe not right.
Hand, I think it might come off the knee. Onto the hand.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Steins in front. There's a free kick because Pittman got one high, and accidents do count. Just over 15 minutes to go. Melbourne really not forcing the issue at the moment. Kick back to centre half forward area. One-handed mark almost from Caven. Out to Sampson. He'll get out of this. Got caught, but got the handball. He's got a bit of poise. Cowell, left foot. Oh, beautiful. Ben Hart's got better as the game's got on. That's what he can do, is kick it. Yeah, thanks very much, Mr. Hart, for that. And he kicks it out of bounds.
Young Kane Johnson, the 17-year-old we saw a moment ago, Neil Baum and Barry Richard together. Johnson showing a fair bit of promise. The Victorian recruit. Clarkson, it was good in the second quarter when he came onto the ground. Left foot. Neats and Smart. Smart used him as a ride. Free kick to Neats. Got a lift from him. Been good duel. Nigel Smart with a goal in the third quarter. Such a wonderful athlete. And this young man, there's such a great player, Neats. Kick to the pocket. Seacamp's marked it. They're still a long way from goal, Melbourne. At 50 metres, Gary Lyon in the goal square, just waiting. Not leading. Still not really going. So nothing to aim at. Seacamp to have a shot. 50 metres out. Not bad. Good kick right there. Through the fingers of Neats. That's unusual. He normally takes them. Uze with an opportunity. Tregenza out on the full. Free kick to Melbourne from the right forward pocket to Farmer. Demons need one now, and they need a couple to follow in a hurry to have any chance at all. Trailing badly by 38 points. They led by 16 points on the siren at half-time. Farmer, centering kick. Neats, couldn't quite. Tregenza onto it. Taps it cleverly. Connell stood his ground. No free kick. Seacamp barges through. Back to Connell in the back pocket. Connell hugs the boundary line. Had no one to kick it to. Wants it to go out. And finds it.
Jim Steins, with a fair player again. Pittman and Steins. Robert Shaw pointing. Something had to move. Really was shepherding off the ball then. I think that would have been a free kick. Falls to Costa. Costa tries to chip. Chipped pretty well. That's a big stretch, isn't it? That's about 24 feet in the air when he puts his arms up like that. And a very ordinary kick, really. He's got out of it with a free kick. Now, not sure about that. Put his hand on it. Ingerston. Bruce mentioned a bit earlier. He really did rest it there early, didn't he? Just out of shot from our angle. Scott Hodges. Kicks that. I don't like that. It used to be a beautiful forward kick, kicking for goal. Kicked 11 against Geelong here one night in a night game. You remember that one? Free kick. Oh, I do, every one of them. But yeah, he's just lost that fluency. But it was a certain free kick then, and pretty well done by the umpire. So here we go. Now this will be the switch back to one side. They normally do that.
You might know the system quite as well, Alistair Clarkson, but he's gone wide.
Yeah. And it's ended up with Stein. So
I think Lottie made a pretty good point at the three-quarter time break. That one of the big differences is that Gary Lyon just coming off the ground. I shouldn't interrupt myself to say that, but one of the big differences after half-time is that they've blocked those wings, Righty, and they're not allowing Melbourne to take the avenues out wide.
No, I'll have to agree with that, Jared. Oh, there's a free kick going to Tregenza here. There was some work off the footy to keep Neats. Tried to keep him off the footy. Neats just very late. Now, what should have been done? I mean, the mark was taken and then the free kick given. Interesting, isn't it?
Well, I was in the air. It's a bit hard to pull yourself up once you're airborne.
Sure. Tregenza pushes forward. Pittman almost a quick hand. On the ground is Primke. He pulled that in. And that unfortunately is holding the ball. So Peter Caven, ex-Fitzroy, ex-Swans, holding the ball there. Gary Lyon just seemed to come off all right then. Probably just a bit of a rest for the skipper. Hasn't been in the play much, has he? Hasn't. He's been to the ball about 4 times in the whole of the second half. Kicked 3 goals. And this is what this young fella's going for. Peter Caven puts a low kick. Just can't quite get there. Pesh kicks back to the front of the square. Is it disciplined? It is. And sitting underneath it is Hodges. And that's probably the first time tonight that Anthony Inglis has actually got feet in the air.
He just missed with that left arm. You're going to take Anthony Ingerson out and just stand on his left-hand side because he really does go with the one hand every time.
Hodges gets his second and the Crows 14.
The quickest way to get to see the Telstra Adelaide Festival is to grab a cab. And the easiest way to find out what's on and where, with events, times, maps and restaurants, is to grab your free weekly Cabbie's Guide to the festival. So don't miss out, grab a cab and get your copy now.
Praise the oil! Hallelujah! Castrol GTX2! We fought temptation, we pulled through, protected by Castrol GTX2. Oil St. Oils.
6 goals, 9 the difference, 45 points. Hodges with a couple of goals. 14-13, 8-4. Melbourne still without a goal in the second half. Gary Lyon off the ground. Hilton. Jarman tried a little one after Pittman gave it to him. Irving tries to get it out. Phoebe there, Matthew Phoebe, and it's going to be a ball up. This one of Gary Lyon is just a touch sore. He didn't want to lead for Seacamp earlier. And 3 first half goals. He really ignited Melbourne. But Adelaide going through now to the quarter-final, you'd think for sure. Cow to Sampson. It's been good, Sampson. To the 50, smart and neats, one of the jewels of the night. This has been a good one too, Edwards and Farmer. Edwards well played to Smart. That's a great defender's kick under pressure. Bounced about half a metre inside the line.
How could you take that at a football, that big... Oh, I mean, the whole crowd was involved in that little bit of play then. I think it's... anyhow, perhaps I've said enough about that.
Oh, we're talking about the rule that we used in the Lightning Premiership,
Yeah.
the last man to touch it.
Well, speaking of rules, I think the umpires have done a great job on the tackle rule.
Hilton getting through, Turley getting ready to come back on, taken by Edwards. He's a good mark overhead, isn't he, for his size? He gets a lot of spring, Edwards, a real athlete. To Johnson, to Bickley. Bickley at centre wing, little wonder Pittman, who's worked hard throughout the night. Turley on for Hilton. Now, it's a free kick down the ground to Wren. Hanging on, I think, against Kripke. So Wren now to have a shot. Wren's kicked 2 goals, 2. This for his third from 40 metres out. Gee, that's not now a little bit of a float. Not bad off the boot, though. Just misses. 2-3 to Wren.
Yes, amazingly, in over a quarter and a half of football, the Demons have got 1 point on the board. That is, of course, since half-time. Amazing. When they were going so well. Ingerson gets it to Grant. Goes back, and this is his play. They've set it up nicely this time. Phoebe can't grab hold of it, but he really tapped it down to his brother. Now to a pack of players. Flying in late over the top was Hart. Falls to Turley, chips it forward. Over Seacamp's head, and the ball runs out of bounds. So quick transference of play from that point from Sean Wren. Yes, got the pencil out to get the correct scores.
Looks like a spy.
Yes, I guess we should have known him. And it's not bad again. Actually, I'm keen on that one too, that ruck work. They've really stopped a fair bit of that. Fish gets the quick kick around the corner. And holding on to Greg Anderson is Gasper, and Anderson kicks. Wren lets it bounce. Kripke meets it. Oh, fantastic hands. Sets up Costa. He's missed some goals tonight, but this time he chips. Oh, chips well. Full play on. And follows up. Fantastic play. Off the ground to Wren. No. Isn't he a exciting player when he goes near the ball, Kim Costa? He really is a live wire.
It's unbelievable how that didn't result in a goal because he actually threw in a magnificent swerve running through. Have a look at the swerve he just throws in. In fact, we won't have a look at it. But an exciting individual effort.
Official crowd tonight, 26,182. They'll be really pleased with that figure.
Kick by Gasper. Matthew Phoebe gets it to about 50. Punched away by Smart. Turley back in board to Neeps. Neeps squeezes one out, but not effectively. Chalmers has got it. Normally a good kick. She's got Caven out wide. He gets to him now. Caven can go on to Tregenza. One bounce. Should go over the top to Jarman, actually. There's the kick now to Jarman. Gets him. Can he keep it in? He does. Hasn't kicked much on the left tonight. Squeezes one on the right. Goes for Wren. Gets him. It's wonderful football.
Well, that was one of the kicks of the night because Jarman had to actually check his kick midway through going for it, but he still knew where Wren was going to be.
So Pittman filling a hole. Pittman's got better, hasn't he, as the night's gone on too. And they're big stats, aren't they, for a ruckman, Pittman? 7 marks, 12 kicks and 7 handballs prior to this. And having a shot for goal, as I told you earlier, it's his birthday today. He's 27.
And he's following on a season where most people had him as one of the favourites for the best and fairest of the Crows. It was won by Matt Connell, but he would have also been a worthy winner.
He stepped into Wren's shoes, didn't he? It was a great performance. And he kicks from 40 metres out. He pushes it across. Hodges there. Still with Hodges. No, out of play. 14-15 to 8-4. And Adelaide completely dominating the second half. They've kicked 8 goals, 10 to a point. So we see Stephen Phoebe coming off the ground. 18 scoring shots to 1. Amazing. Anderson bouncing ball. Clarkson on the left. Sampson backing back. And Rashudo takes it at about 55 metres. He was very good early in the third quarter when the Crows need him. Goes to Jarman at 65 metres. Now just waiting. I wonder if he'll... no, he doesn't. I thought he might try and go long. Ukrainian couldn't quite. Wren's little give good to Rashudo. Straightens the body. Keeps it low. Or good take. That's a great mark by Pesh. Doesn't kick a lot of goals, Pesh, but he's had a couple of points tonight. Surely will go from here, and he's got it, and the Crows are sailing away.
Acting is really just a grown-up word for playing pretend. I'm lucky I get to do it all the time. But you know what? I reckon Howard is pretending to want to keep Medicare when for years he's been saying he'll pull it apart. And I reckon he's pretending again when he says he'll protect the environment by selling off Telstra. The environment? He just wants to sell Telstra. Pretending is a very dangerous game indeed. Authorised by Bill Hunter for the ALP, Canberra.
Yes, the Crows eke out that lead to 53 points. It's been a dramatic change around. Irving keeps running. Get something out of this now, the Melbourne side. Goes bang and misses. In fact, through for a point. So pretty direct play there from Dean Irving. And his first score for the night. Only the second point for the Melbourne side in this second half. So it's pretty hard work now for the Demons, but I always think every second in a game of footy you're out there you can learn something. Shit, beautiful kick. And finds Ugrinnick. This is young Adam Ugrinnick, former Woodville West Torrens boy. Very quick, we haven't quite seen that tonight. Been on the ground. That's a beautiful kick. That's good skills, isn't it? It's moved 100 metres and the Melbourne side hasn't touched it. So Greg Anderson let the team down. He actually wobbles it off. And that will end up out of bounds as David Grant runs it over. So Darren Jarman comes off. Neil Baum looks on ruefully. And pretty good work out for Darren Jarman in his first game in the Crows colours. Here's this live wire. Oh, if only he could kick. I shouldn't say that. But he just wobbles a bit with his kicking. And
Bloody, what you meant to say, only he could kick like this man here, Darren Jarman. I mean, he's not a bad kick. The other bloke's just a freak.
Not a tap out either.
Oh, fantastic.
15-16 to 8-5. The Crows have had 11 individual goal scorers in their 15. Tregenza, a floater. Now, is there going to be a free kick against Melbourne for a push after Tregenza kicked it, or as he kicked it?
I think it must have been the reason.
One of the new rules too, kicking the ball, pushing the backer goes down the ground. Wren's had a few shots for goal tonight.
Yes, the Crows have had Costa with 2, Hodges 2, Caven 2, Wren 2, and 7 other individuals with 1 apiece as Wren kicks from the pocket. Good kick, he's got it. It's his third.
I see John Howard wants to sell Telstra if he gets in.
I reckon I know what would happen if he sold Telstra.
Tell me.
Well, it would probably mean no cross-subsidies.
Higher service costs and timed local calls. That'd be a disaster for small businesses.
What about my phone bill? My daughter's always on the phone.
Why would Howard want to sell one of Australia's greatest assets?
Surely Howard's only pretending he'll sell Telstra. He's not pretending on this one.
Authorised by Barry Jones for the ALP Canberra.
Yes, so Sean Wren, the leading goal kicker now for the Crows with 3. Just had a thought, he's had that bad knee. Perhaps this is the time when perhaps a bit of a rest might do him good, but nevertheless, Alistair Clarkson runs onto it, chips it out wide to David Neitz, who just can't grab hold of it. Smart does well, taps it to his advantage. Phoebe under pressure. Here's Costa. He is absolutely a live wire. Love it. Sets it out wide again for Phoebe, and Phoebe chips and just can't get hold of it. Is Brett Chalmers. So 4 minutes to go, right on 4 minutes to go. And yes, the transformation in the game was quite remarkable in that third quarter. And we're now waiting a blood rule applied. First one tonight as David Pittman comes off with a bit of a cut on the side of his face. And they always look worse than what they really are, so, well, generally speaking. The blood gets pretty warm and you get pretty hot and sweaty, and just a little nick could cause a lot of blood, although, geez, there is a lot of blood.
That must be a fair nick.
So Jarman coming back.
See, I hope he's all right. No, they've got to do. Have a look.
I mean, it doesn't collapse on you, bloody.
Just a little scratch.
You do that every morning in the mirror, don't
Yes,
you?
that's right. Yeah, particularly when your body gets hot and you just seem to get your temperature up, it runs a bit freer. Anyhow, 8 goals, 11 difference. Gee whiz. And now we get this all sorted out again. Keep your hands down, boy. Oh, was that just almost? Oh, falls to Clarkson. Front of the square. Edwards brilliant with the punch. Just brilliant. Darren Jarman slopes after it, doesn't he? Just really does. He really wants some help here with the kick and then draws the player. So he's just too smart. I mean, that was smart play. Rather than blaze it, just wait for the other guy to come to him. Terrific. Riddick goes backward almost, and the ball will run out of bounds, centre wing. Yes, Neil Curley, David Pittman.
Yeah, just a nick behind the ear, a bit of blood flowing, but they'll just patch it up with a couple of stitches. It'll be okay.
Only a couple of stitches.
Good on your curls. Bickley inside 50. Smart having a run up forward. Now Gasper. Oh, it took too long. Smart well played. Wren sweeps it. Costa. Back to Smart. He'll kick his second. Charges in and goes.
Things that are meant to shake.
Yeah.
Shake.
Yeah.
Shake.
Yeah.
Shake.
No. Steering wheel shouldn't shake. How do we stop that? With a Bob Jane T-Mart's $10 wheel balance. $25 worth for just $10.
Yes.
5 wheels beautifully balanced.
Yes.
To stop the annoying shakes.
Yes.
Stop the wear and tear.
Yes.
Stop for safety's sake. At Bob Jane T-Mart's. Shake.
So the Crows motoring ahead. Really seemingly without any opposition, but I'm sure the Melbourne players are doing it. Just can't get hold of the footy often enough. Here's one of them that has. Phoebe out to Cow. Gives it to Clarkson. Now Clarkson looks inside. Great kick. Oh, Seacant just couldn't control it. I thought that was a gettable one. To Johnson. Oh, the kids work it well at the back, and the ball comes out wide. Now it's a foot race. Ugritic puts the pressure on Uze. We'll see if he gets clear. He can run. As you can see the crowd, there he goes. This is what half of them have come here for. And Ugritic goes and kicks it to Smart by himself almost as the Melbourne players close in on him. Costa again, always busy. Out of midair, Maradona. And Nigel Smart misses. And there'll be a corner kick. I'm sorry, there'll be a boundary throw in.
What about that Ugrinik, Jared? We saw him here last week in the practice match. He's unbelievable in terms of his acceleration.
Well, I asked John Beveridge before the game what are his key points. John Beveridge, a recruiting officer for St Kilda, and he said speed and kicking.
Yes, well done. Pitch a second goal. Try and work this out. Adelaide kicked 5 of the first 6. Melbourne kicked 7 unanswered goals. And since then, Adelaide have kicked 13 unanswered goals.
Well, obviously, if the game went long enough, Melbourne would then go into a 12 or 14 goal burst. But unfortunately, I think the Siren might finish them. But that was a tremendous goal.
Good Rovers goal, but 13 unanswered goals.
Unbelievable, isn't it? I don't think it'd happen in modern footy, would you?
18-16 to 8-5. It was 8 goals to 5 when the siren sounded at half-time in Melbourne's favour.
Yes, good kick forward. They've got to hear a lot. They just seem to be falling down. We get it through here. O'Brien, interesting start. Nice kick. Almost a grab then as Darren Jarman plays in a defensive role on Marcus Seacamp. So we're down on the 2 minutes now. Seacamp had that good second quarter, late in the first, early second. I think they've tried to share the workload, two of these guys in the midfield a bit, haven't they? Just on and off the ground. So Marcus Seacamp kicks from 40 metres, and no, they're not going to get one here. They can't break the drought at all. Farmer, and he takes it over the line. It really is incredible. 13 straight. I mean, in any sort of football, that's almost an incredible stat, isn't it, Bruce? Just frightening.
Kicked 13 goals, 11 in that time, to 2 points.
Clarkson, he is a goal kicker. He gets clear, swings it back, and he's kicked it. So the drought is broken for Melbourne. Third goal to Alistair Clarkson, and you were a bit surprised after half-time, Jared, when he wasn't on the ground.
Well, I think probably Neil Barmer's going to rotate the fellow through the middle, as you said. Turley comes off and Barm went on. Phoebes have been on and off the ground a couple of times, but I just think you start the quarter or the half with your best midfielders, and perhaps that was Neil Barm didn't think he was playing as well as perhaps we did from up here, but he certainly has made a pretty good debut for Melbourne.
18-16, 9-5 out of the centre. Grant to Obst. Anderson, Cow. It's terrific to see him coming back. Looked badly injured early in the game. Ben Hart, Glenn Lovett. Wide, here's Clarkson again. Good handball. Gets it to Matthew Phoebe. Keeps it low. Jeff Farmer's marked it.
I think the key point, though, Rod, is the one that you indicated at three-quarter time. They have blocked off Melbourne's access to goal by covering them up wide, and really have made a contest of it, then gone inside and had a pretty free run up the middle of the ground.
So Farmer's kicked that goal in the first quarter against the Tide, when Melbourne kicked a couple with Lyon and Farmer to get back, and from point-blank range he kicks it. So Melbourne getting the last couple of goals in the last minute.
Bruce, if we finish at midnight, Melbourne can win this, because as you say, they'll kick the next 14.
It's just the start of the run.
Jared was spot on. 18-16 to 10-5. But Clarkson has been good, hasn't he? 12 kicks, 4 handballs and 3 goals.
And he does look to have himself extremely fit. Pretty muscle bound, but lean at the same time, if that can be accomplished. Looks very, very fit.
So we're inside the last half minute of this opening game of the Ansett Cup for a big crowd here. Crows going through to the quarter-final, as they have done on every occasion they've been involved. Connell going into the pocket, hip and shoulder by Obst. Ingerson had a terrific first 2.5 quarters, gets it back and kicks it away. But Adelaide winning in the end, 18-16, 124 to 10-5, 65. So they go through to the quarterfinals. They've got a great record in this competition. They've made the grand final the last couple of years, semi-finals the first 2 years, and wedged in between that a quarterfinal spot. And for the 3rd consecutive year, the Crows, or rather Melbourne, go out in the opening round. A 59-point margin in the end for Adelaide. Ben Hart was good, wasn't he? And David, he's not one of his best nights. He started pretty well.
Yeah, he did have his moments during the game, particularly in the second quarter where I thought he got Melbourne, one of the reasons Melbourne got back into the game, but he was up against an extraordinarily talented player in Nigel Smart. Craig Turley had his moments during the game, but he'll get better as he goes throughout the season. And we believe Neil Curley has got Matthew Robb.
Yeah, well, mate, that was a pleasing game for you to get through and finish the game strongly.
I think every game at this stage for myself, Neil, is very pleasing to get through, and you know, if I'm lucky enough to get a few touches, that's all encouraging.
Centre half back, you like that position?
I'm very happy to be playing there. I mean, it's obviously a lot easier than centre half forward. Played centre half forward a lot, so I find that to my advantage there. So, you know, if the coach is going to persist with me there, I'll certainly give him a good go.
Some of the things that stood out from the boundary tonight was the fierce tackling, the chasing and the blocking off the boot.
That was something we certainly addressed before the game. Just, you know, we certainly concentrate on our run-on game, which has been evident in the 2 games we've played so far. But tonight we really concentrate on the little things, like you say, the shepherd, the tackles, the smothers, and I thought that was a feature of our game tonight.
And you seem to be trying to get that run and movement out of defence again.
Yeah, that's, I think, where Darryl Hart's certainly been a great help to the club, being a coach where, in his previous club, where he concentrates on the hands a lot. That's something we've worked on, certainly running the ball out of defence through the midfield to our forwards, and it's worked very well in our 2 games.
Matty, well played. Go and enjoy your win. Back to you, Bruce.
Good on you, Curl. Thanks for that. Adelaide using their new rooms, they go off.
Interesting, isn't it? Because they're not going to see the members' side of it. Oh, it's just interesting. They've got all their facilities over that side, the new facilities.
Good win for them, wasn't it? Really good win. Well, Modra's important. It'll be interesting to see in the wash-up how badly injured he is. And Liptak obviously has an injury, but the Modra one's a key.
I thought they were challenged tonight in that second quarter. That's what makes the win even more meritorious, to get on top and then go away.
Yes, a good point, Malcolm. So the final scores here as we take a break. 18-16 Adelaide, 124. Melbourne 10-5, 65.
Monday, it's 7's Mega Series hit Jag. Over 2 million viewers through to a potent mix of mystery,
We have an investigation to run.
barnstorming adventure,
Sorry, I'm a little rusty. You're not rusty, Lieutenant. You're corroded.
and 2 of TV's hottest new stars.
Find Lieutenant Rab attractive.
This week, Meg and Harp are in the line of fire, fighting to save a dead hero's reputation.
You don't quit, do you, Lieutenant?
All new Jag, 7:30 Monday on 7.
Call JM for insurance. 21342. Call JM for insurance.
More and more South Australians are calling JM every day for their own choice of repairer and our 24-hour assessment of motor vehicle claims.
21342.
Uh-oh.
Call JM for insurance.
Australia's #1 album, Oasis, Morning Glory with Morning Glory. Roll with it. Wonderwall. And the brand new single, Don't Look Back in Anger. Oasis, Morning Glory. Don't wake up without it.
So can you explain this interest-free thing to me?
Well, that just means you can get new tyres now and not pay a cent for 3 months. It's available on our entire range of tyres.
Oh. I'll have a couple of new tyres from a Trojan then.
Yeah, sounds like a fair swap to me.
Bow's interest-free terms. Drive away with 3 months to pay. Call 132381 for your nearest Bow Repairs store.
Sip and save? You bet you can. Every day. Just get a load of these Sip and Savin' specials. Macallan Scotch, a wee $18.99. South Aussie's own St Agnes Brandy, a beauty at $17.99. Stanley 4-litre casks, $9.49, and Melbourne Bitter with a free packet of Thins potato chips, only $24.99 while stocks last. Get into your nearest Sip and Save. They're everywhere, with everyday low prices.
Impulse Roller Shutters summer sale is on now. This month, all Impulse shutters are a whacking 35% off, and you pay nothing for 6 months with no interest. Install Impulse Roller Shutters now, pay nothing for 6 months, and save a whacking 35%. And if you want your whole house done, we'll do it for half price. That's 50% off. Call Impulse Roller Shutters now on 371 2888. That's 371 2888, and save up to 50% on roller shutters.
The Holy Roadside. Step right this way.
Following on from the phenomenal success of Get On Board, the Bad Loves delivered the brilliant new studio album, Holy Roadside. It's a divine journey.
Welcome back, and Adelaide 59-point winners over Melbourne tonight. The final score 18 goals 16 to 10 goals 5. We look at the family tree and we'll see that Adelaide will play the winner of tomorrow night's match, Hawthorn and St Kilda, and that match I believe will be played in Adelaide. I'm pretty sure about that quarter-final. And Malcolm Blight just reminded me that Adelaide's record at Football Park in the night series is 8-0. They're unbeaten at Football Park. So they've got a wonderful record here, so they're going to be very strong favourites, I'd imagine, to go through to at least the semi-final stage. Now, it's the centenary of football in this country, and there's been a special football record brought out to celebrate 100 years of the game.
Which of these men has been the most influential in football over 100 years? How have the 12 legends changed the game? Who have been the most loved players of all time? What will footy be like in 100 years? Those questions are pondered in the Centenary Souvenir Edition of the AFL Football Record, celebrating 100 years of the world's greatest game. $5 at all news agencies. It's a collector's item.
So it's a must for all footy fans. Just briefly, we've got Tony Mondra down there. Crows will be delighted with their newcomers like Jarman and Costa tonight.
Yeah, well, I think we knew that Jarman is a superstar, but he was on song tonight. A little bit quiet in the second quarter, but really did spark him, I think, in the third quarter. And Costa, I think, is going to be a fantastic player for Adelaide. Hard at the ball, very quick. Perhaps just needs to work on his finishing a bit.
Neil Curley down there with Tony Mondra. Neil.
Thank you, Bruce. Well, for all Adelaide supporters throughout the state, Tony, your injury is not serious, it's just a precautionary thing?
No, just precautionary. It'll be right by Monday week.
You felt you could have played on if you really had to?
Yeah, I was thinking about strapping it up, but they told me not to bother, so it was good.
Well, looking at Tony Modra the last couple of games, as opposed to, say, 94 and a bit of 95, there seems to be Modra wants to play a game. That's the impression I get just watch. Now, you just seem to be so more interested and so more focused.
No, I'm really keen. I've had a good pre-season, and it's a pity little things like this don't help me out too much, but I'm sure I'll get over it.
Now, the team tonight just seem to have so much more enthusiasm about them. They're chasing, they're tackling, they're blocking on the boot, the little things, and of course with Jarman and Costa, two experienced players coming in, just seems to give them the team a big lift.
Yeah, I mean, the boys slackened off a bit in the second quarter there, but we powered right on in the finish there, and I think the club's very happy to recruit the likes of Jars and Costa.
How do you feel yourself, with the hard pre-season and all the rest of the players? They seem to be really ready to have a good year.
Boys are really fit. There's not too many injuries this year, and we're really looking forward to a great year. And just today with the new club rooms and winning that game out there is going to help us put up to a good start, yeah.
Neil, I was just wondering, Tony, I think you can hear me, it's Bruce McAvaney upstairs.
Yeah.
Tony, you say you reckon you'll be right. Can you just tell us exactly how you did the injury? Did you have a little niggle coming in, and what is the extent of the injury?
No, I didn't have any injuries at all. It's just a bit of a knee strain there, not much. I just pulled up a bit short there when a couple of balls were dropping back into the 50 there, and just sort of went over it a bit, so I just felt it go a bit loose, so I've lost you.
No, just put it back in. That's it,
it'll be no worries.
Okay, good.
Tony, what about the attitude of the Crows towards the Ansett Cup? There was a report in the paper that suggested that you were very keen to win this one, but not so much concerned with winning the entire competition.
Oh, well, we'll see how it goes. We'll take it week after week, won't we? We're just happy we won this one with the new club rooms opening, so we'll take it as it goes next week.
Tony, thanks for your time, and the people of South Australia love to hear, and all the best for the season.
No worries, thanks for that.
Back to you, Bruce.
Yeah, good on you, Neil, and thank you, Tony Modra. And that's good that he looks like he's going to be okay. Gee, wasn't Jarman? He was tremendous, wasn't he? That third quarter, he took charge.
Yeah, he certainly did, and he also kicked that beautiful goal in the first quarter. We know that Darren Jarman is an exquisite goal kicker, and he is going to have some tremendous days here, and I think he'll probably be inspired when he's playing with his brother. We just saw there he out-positioned a couple of players. Could have perhaps handballed the ball, but when you can kick the ball as wonderfully well as he can, why would you bother? And here's Glenn Lovett. We did see some amazing smothering by the Crows, particularly in the second half of the game today. In fact, I think Damien Gasper had the ball smothered at least 4 or 5 times, which cost the Demons. But Darren Jarman in the number 3 is going to be fated here, I think, in Adelaide.
No doubt about that. We'll take a break. Back with more from Football Park after this.